Welcome everybody to our April 2021 public hearing and regular meeting. It is now 6:06. We're going to go ahead and get started. We do have a very full agenda this evening. Our first agenda item, we have National Grid joining us, a timely presentation on their energy efficiency programs just in time for Earth Day. Without further ado, Carolyn, I will let you take it from here.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to show my, share my screen. Hopefully you can see that. Just let me get a little bigger here. Okay. Okay, so my name is Carolyn Schiavelli. I am the Downstate New York Multifamily Program Manager. Fatima also, I know she's listening in. She's a residential program manager. So we have quite a few programs. Oh my goodness, it's okay. Just to know, once again, our service territory is Brooklyn, parts of Queens, all of Staten Island, and then Nassau and Suffolk County. So for us, the Rockaways, even though it's considered New York City, it's considered part of our kind of Long Island territory. Okay, let's just go quickly into residential rebates. Especially with COVID, not only are people having a problem with their bills, which please call our customer advocates. Those phone numbers are online. They can help you with heat grants, things like that, any kind of payment plan. So always keep that in mind. But also for everyone else, just to know energy efficiency is your way that you can always lower your bills, which is a key point to this also. So just even about renters, even if you're a renter, just knowing small things that you can do even in your home. Always ask the landlord what the bills are like before you get in there. Also, Wi-Fi thermostats, things like that can help you save on your electric. All right, I'm sorry, on your gas and your electric bill, to be honest with you, everything. For residential energy efficiency, residential is considered a 1 to 4 unit home, or if you live like in a co-op or a condo and you pay your own National Grid bill, you can apply for residential energy efficiency. So you go right on ngrid.com/myrebate, and you can apply for rebates for any new equipment that you might install into your home. As long as it is eligible, you can check the website prior and see what kind of equipment. It's the most efficient equipment that you can get rebates on. So it may be a little bit more expensive in the beginning, and that's why we offer a rebate. But in the long run, you're going to save a lot more money. Also, if you buy Wi-Fi enabled thermostat, say from Amazon or something, you can get $75 back on those. Pipe insulation, things like that that you would do in your home. We want you to do anything that you can that will help you save your money on your bill. Once again, here's our online application for my rebate. And if you'll see those dark blue boxes, if you click on there, those are our brochures. So you can click right on that brochure and find out exactly what kind of equipment and what the eligibility requirements are for. Okay, so you can show that if you're getting quotes from plumbers to do this work for you, or contractors, you can show them, hey, this is what I need to install in order to get a rebate. They should be well aware of our rebates. Also, we do work with them on a regular basis and send them notes and emails and try to train them on everything so that they can help you get the money that you need to get back. Okay, we also have a new program that we're really excited about, which is only in the New York City area. So that's your Brooklyn area. Okay. What we do for this is that you can either have one of our Franklin Energy technicians, who is our partner with this program, come to your home, or you can do it virtually right over the phone. Especially with COVID, we set up that feature. They'll go through a few things in your home, ask you a few questions about how you use your energy, what kinds of things, aerators, how old your shower heads are, things like that. Once they do that, they will come out there and they will install the faucet aerators in your bathroom and your kitchen. Okay, so that sprays the water a little less than a regular nozzle would, where when you put the nozzle on, the water comes screaming out. This just flows it better. Okay, you use a lot less water. The low flow shower heads too, same idea. We have the handheld ones or the regular standard shower head. We also do pipe wraps around the pipes in the bathroom and the kitchen on the hot water, so it keeps the hot water hot. So you don't use so much energy heating the water. And the thermostatic shower valves, which is my favorite thing. I have 2 girls and they put the shower on and then they walk around and I don't know what they're doing, waiting for that hot water to come on, and how many gallons of water have gone down the drain already. So that thermostatic shower valve, it's just like a little pull chain. It starts dripping water when the water gets hot. You pull the chain and then the hot water automatically comes out. Saves you a ton of money. So all these little things we would do, and it's no cost. That's a free program. Anybody can call and it will just come. Like I said, either install it for you or send you a package and you can do it DIY yourself, whatever you feel most comfortable with during this COVID time. So that is, the phone number is right there. Our information is also on our website for all these programs. Also the marketplace. Marketplace, you can order, it's like National Grid Amazon, if you will. You can order shower heads, aerators, thermostatic shower valves right on the marketplace, and the rebate is automatically in that price. So you don't have to fill out another rebate form. You just buy it on there, we ship it to you, and you can install it and start saving money. Those Wi-Fi thermostats, smart thermostat, if you don't have one, that's one thing I would tell everybody to do. It saves you the most money. It just keeps, will keep the heat low at night. You can set it during the day as high as you want. But when we all start getting back to work, it's great because it automatically shuts off the heat during the day when you're gone. And it just really saves you so much money. I've noticed a huge difference since I've installed it in my home. Then we also have multifamily rebates. So a lot of our constituents in Brooklyn, a lot of our customers live in large multifamily buildings. And even though they're not paying that National Grid bill themselves, it definitely is reflected in that rent. So if you know that there are things in your building that can get done, once again, we have a no-cost service where we will come into each of the units, install the shower heads, faucet aerators, bathroom aerators, and steam traps where they are available. So have the tenants can get together and say, hey, we want you to do this. No, it's free, Mr. Landlord. Call this phone number and we'll schedule time, and everybody can sign up for a time that they want that technician to come into their unit. And we come and do like 50, 100 units in a week, because we offer so many different times. So this too, even though you don't pay that definite, individual bill, definitely get involved. Okay, then also any other, the tenants are really starting, which I love, tenants and buildings are starting to get very involved in being environmentally friendly, being more energy efficient. If they see something and they know, hey, or the landlord is thinking of replacing heating systems, any kind of new technology, we have rebates. It can go either through prescriptive, like my rebate online, or we can do a custom, rebate, which we go and we look at what they're trying to do and we base the incentive off of the work that they're doing and how much money they'll save on their bill. So once again, a lot of different things that they can do for themselves. So just kind of quickly, I didn't want to take up too much time, but just to know, anything that has to do with your natural gas bill, if you're looking to save money or replacing equipment, always go to our website, call the call center, talk to the customer advocates if you need any help paying the bill, but always come to us and ask us what we have to offer, because we do really have a lot of programs out there to offer our customers to help them lower their usage, that will continue on and on. Even if you're having a bill, the more you save on your energy, the less your bill is going to be. also helps us environmentally. Okay. I don't know if you want to take any questions, or else I'll stop sharing my screen and let the next person speak.
Oh,
So questions? Yeah.
Any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
What about converting from oil to gas? What, are there rebates for that?
There are no rebates for converting from oil to gas at this time, no. But there are rebates for the equipment that you may install.
Okay.
Not for the actual conversion though, no.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone
Yeah.
else? Last call, anyone else?
There's nothing in the chat or the Q&A. So if there are questions that we don't get to now, feel free to let us know, and we will certainly pass them along to National Grid.
Yes.
Thank you, National Grid.
definitely.
You're doing a fine job. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Have a great evening.
You
And
too.
you too.
Thanks.
Sit ready.
Marcus, are you there?
Yes, I'm
Alright.
still here. I'm gonna text Celeste as soon as I know.
Okay, yeah, and just so folks know, there is a lot happening on my end, so if for whatever reason I don't respond to you right away, whether it's a text or a chat message, I am monitoring 4 screens at the same time. So just thank you for your patience, but we will move on to our second public hearing item. So I believe the team is here. I know I have Gabo, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Hi.
All right. Yes, please let me know who else is with you this evening, just to make sure I have everyone that's on your team.
We have Sapna,
Okay.
SAPNA,
Yes, adding now.
and Tommy.
Got it, and Tommy got it. Okay, everyone, yes.
Gabo, how are you, Gabo? I like your hair, man.
I'm good. How are you, Mr. Camacho?
All right, all right. You look like the Beatles, man.
I will take this as a compliment. How are
It is a
you?
compliment. It is a compliment. I didn't recognize you until I heard your voice.
Yeah, I haven't cut my hair in a while now, so
Oh,
it's
that's all, man.
been a
That's
long
it.
time.
I don't have none, so I wish I.
I could give this to you. I'll cut it and ship it to you.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready. I can't share my screen though.
Oh, give me 1 second, Gabo. Let me change the presenter.
Thank you.
Yes, you should be able to now. And before you get started, I believe we have Miss McClellan, 908 number. Miss McClellan, is that you?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you control your sound now, okay? And let me
Yes,
just make
okay.
sure I'm not missing anyone. Elise, I'm gonna unmute you again. I know there was some background noise. If you can mute on your side, and then when you're ready.
Okay.
All right, we should be good to go.
Okay. Do you all see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi. Some of you know me. You know me for a long time out in Bushwick, and here back again. We have these are 20 slides. Hopefully, 15 to 20 minutes we'll be speaking. I just want to thank you all, the board, Mr. Camacho and Celeste, for having us here today to come again and talk about the BOA. Before I go into the overview, I just want to introduce the team who's here. You'll have me, Gabo Halili. I'm a project consultant now at Hester Street, working on the BOA since 2017, working with the Bushwick Community Plan. Before that, we also have Raul Rubio. If you want to introduce yourself, you all know Raul. Good.
Yeah,
We
guys,
also
can you hear me?
have...
Sorry. Hi.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know who I am. Been working with this project since phase 1, and I want to thank you guys as well as the board in entirety for coming along with this process with us, and hopefully this isn't over, and we can eventually look forward to phase 3 when things kind of like normalize even more. But thank you.
Next we have Sapna Advani, who's here as well as part of our team. And we have Tommy from Hester Street who's taking notes to make sure we record everything. So I just want to start with mapping up hopefully the 15 minutes I'll be speaking today. So there's an introduction, project background, findings or recommendation, and next steps, and a few questions. So for the introduction, I just want to talk about why we're here today. We want to update you on our progress. This presentation, we sent Celeste an executive summary, and if you all can help us out how to share that with you, it'll be really helpful. We want to describe what the BOA can mean for Bushwick, what the benefits are of this project and what it can do for Bushwick that is different from the Bushwick Community Plan and how it's different from the rezoning. We also want to solicit feedback. As we seek designation from the state, this is another reason while we're refreshing you all with what we've done since 2 years ago when we were 2019, especially with the pandemic just warping time. Just wanted to like refresh everyone's memory. What you'll see here is things we've already talked about. But since 2020, we've been working with DOS to refine the work. It was really a lot of writing and rewriting, but the content remains the same. So in just giving you a visual view of who we are, the project sponsor is FSN, the Family Services Network, led by Dr. Igwe. They're the grantee of DOS from DOS, and FSN is the folks who brought us at Hester Street and Grain Collective, where Sapna is part of, who is here with us today. We have Raul Rubio, who you all know, our community coordinator. BGH Advisors did our economic development work in this project, and we had CUF and El Puente to help us out with the community surveys we did in 2018, 2019. To give you all a background, I want to start with the visions and the goals of this project. The vision and goals of this project are really rooted on the Bushwick Community Plan and the BOA work. So I'll read it out so you can all like read it with me. The project vision is to protect and strengthen Bushwick by identifying implementable and, let me just move this, and site-specific development on vacant, underutilized, and brownfield sites that advance community goals of the BOA and BCP on affordable housing, economic and workforce development, and public health. For the three main goals around affordable housing, economic and workforce development, and public health. And the goals under here are really, again, rooted on the Bushwick Community Plan because we're basing a lot of our work on that. Oh, where do I go? Okay. So here's what a BOA designation can do. So this project is part of the state's BOA program, which means Brownfield Opportunity Area. That's the big state program that's funding our work through FSN. So through a designation of this report, this project is like this report that we're doing is support from the state committing to providing ongoing support to pursue implementation of the BOA plan. So one of the hallmarks of this plans is the state wants to make sure that these can be done, and it won't just be like this plan and a shelf. Priority and preference. So once a BOA designated, it may receive priority and preference for state grants and other financial assistance. Predictability is one thing that the BOA also brings. So community-based goals in the BOA, in all BOAs really across the state, help provide potential developers an idea of what kind of development community will approve. So at least they know what the community wants when they go in with this kind of plans. And the Brownfield Cleanup Program tax credit for developers who participate in this program to remediate and redevelop sites in a BOA are eligible for a tax credit bump up of up to 5% if development conforms to the BOA plan. A brownfield, again, just to define it for you, for those who don't know, are these lands that have history of environmental pollutants, like if it was a gas station before, if it was something before, and it needs remediation before it could be used for any public use. So broad strokes of a project timeline, as Raul said, he was here for step 1 in 2009, which is a long time ago from now. I was still in college. And in 2018, we started the step 2 nomination when I was at Hester Street. the Bushwick Community Plan happened right before that. And from 2018 to today, we've done steering committee meetings, CB4 meetings. We've seen you all before, surveys and stakeholder interviews, plus our research. From now and beyond, which can take 5 to 10 years, honestly, for implementation and designation. So I want to talk about community engagement. Our work is really rooted in the Bushwick Community Plan. And 2018 is the foundation of the BOA. Through our work, our goal really wasn't to repeat the BCP and ask the same questions again, since that just finished and everyone already said what they needed in Bushwick through this plan. So we really aim to bring the recommendations there into the BOA and complemented it with engagement we did for this project. So there is the steering committee for the BOA, and you'll see here is a list of both community members and city agencies where we're trying to really have a spirit of collaboration moving forward for site-by-site development. Again, this is not a rezoning, just want to make that clear. We did a CB4 presentation. Here's a picture where before the pandemic, where we are all actually 1 foot from each other, less than. We did community surveys with Chauvin and Puente. Here are just some highlights below. I won't read them out for you all, just in the interest of time. And then we're going on to findings and recommendations. So from all of our engagement, all of our research, and all of the work that we did, we come to the goals and objectives. And as you read through this, you might see it's familiar because it's almost nearly lifted from the Bushwick Community Plan. And we adapted it for the BOA context, which is site-by-site development. And we focused on built environment recommendations from the plan here. So building affordable housing, building commercial spaces that cater to the needs of the neighborhood, very site buildings, very built environment things, more than less, and we took less of the policy stuff in this kind of work. For the objectives, to take the goals and objectives to bring them into action, we created an implementation strategy, which you'll see on the report. So we're finishing this report at the end of this month. We're almost there, so you'll see that soon, a draft. So each objective that we mentioned before has a set of recommendations that are based on the BCP and BOA processes. Each recommendation is also matched with interim next steps toward implementation. So for example, just wanted you to see an excerpt of the report here. So you'll see, for example, one of the objectives we mentioned earlier, build commercial spaces that cater to the needs of the neighborhood. And each recommendation here will look familiar to you again from the Bushwick Community Plan. I just want to zero in on the blue part. 212, increase banking options in Bushwick, preferably a local credit union. The only reason why I'm doing this is to show you what you'll find in the report. So you'll see there's a time frame, their partners, their estimated cost and our funding based on our research, and interim next steps. So the interim next steps is really how we're making all of these implementable, like small steps to create a local credit union if that's what the community wants, right? So the first step is to determine the need for it through some research. The next is to analyze the number of credit union members in the area if that works. So for each recommendation we have, we formed it into a project with next steps, with interim next steps that can move it forward. And the orange checks you see here are steps that the state can fund, like operationally can fund plans to move forward implementation of these. So there's a lot of mechanisms to make this implementable, is what I'm trying to say and what the BOA is trying to do here. We're almost done. Our work also, we also looked at strategic sites. Where I'm just looking at my cheat sheet here. We showed you all this last time. This is a map of Bushwick. This is not new to anyone on this call. But we selected 15 strategic sites that are mainly underutilized and vacant sites or used as parking lots. Because parking is an important use in Bushwick, especially for the NYPD and those parking lots around Wyckoff Heights Medical Center and just for the general public. We include on the report, which you'll see later this month, we included ways to preserve and consolidate parking uses on site and to make these sites at least parking, but more than parking, to be able to build a lot of other needs that the community will need. To give you an idea of how we got into these sites, we looked at size, greater than 10K, either parking or vacant lot, spread out in Bushwick. Publicly owned sites are preferred, while there's a lot of bureaucracy into publicly owned sites. Those are opportunities really for 100% affordable housing. We also wanted to find the opportunities to strengthen clusters or fill gaps in health, housing, economic development. Demonstration sites are part of the strategic sites. So of the 15 strategic sites, we selected 3 to show potential of what it can look like. So for example, on this next slide, these are the 3 demonstration sites, again, part of the 15 sites we've shown on the map. These are all proposals. Nothing here is set in stone, but we're showing here strategies of development that count toward the BOA goals in housing, economic development, and public health. What we're really trying to show here is community-based development is possible. At the report, we're showing not only what you see here, like the zoning studies and the shapes of the buildings, but also construction budgets and sources of government subsidy to be able to build this kind of project. So we're saying this is doable. We're trying to give a message to developers that community-based development is doable. You just have to listen and be creative and do it, right? I'm sure it's more complicated than that, but that's the message we're trying to say here. Just to give you a closer look. So this site is the NYPD parking lot beside No Wastelands. It's just south of the Central Ave station on the M. So you see here, the yellow part is affordable housing, where the BCP says affordable housing should be at least at 60% AMI and lower. Community facility space is the blue part, and the red part is commercial space. So we're trying to, activate the ground floor, make it more lively. It's an empty lot. It's by a transit station. One of the important things here is we preserve the no wasteland space. So the building looks odd if you look at it now. It's not a rectangle, it's not a square, but we push the massing as far away from the community garden as possible to preserve direct sunlight on it, because that's what they said that's important to them. Excuse me, to any community garden, right? We also did a shadow study that shows for most of the year, the garden will have direct sunlight for at least until 1 p.m. during winter months and until 3 p.m. during the summer. So again, the goal here is to show community-based development is possible that's mindful and intentional and considers the neighborhood in Bushwick. And it doesn't mean it has to be like a cookie cutter 5-story rectangle building. It can be a lot of things. So next steps, final few slides. So for the next steps, we are going to complete the report, the final draft, and we'll share it with you all. Literally the next few days, the team will be writing just to finish it up. We want to seek your feedback as a board. We'll be sending you a draft again. For the questions and comments anyone has today, we will record it and try to answer as best as we can and accomplish what we can on the report based on our capacity and time. And I know there might be questions that are bigger picture that might take more time and more energy. That we'll record that and bring it to the next implementation phase and see how much capacity we have to integrate that in. But if we can't, those questions will be recorded and brought into implementation. We're gonna apply for BOA designation with the state to get those benefits of a BOA for priority in funding to attract development that matches community needs and desires. And finally, beyond the structure of this project, FSN, because we're only a consultant, but FSN hopes to collaborate with the community when the opportunities arise to implement the goals of this project. I've been with you all through the BCP as well, and I understand and we understand that there's a history of tension between the Bushwick Community Plan and the rezoning. So we're hoping this project could be another way to get community-based recommendations and goals implemented in other ways, but mainly through site-by-site development and not through a full neighborhood rezoning. Because we know, I mean, we know how much tension that's been, and we've been in the same rooms when those things happened. And that's it. That's it for me. Hopefully that was 15 minutes. If anyone has questions.
I have no question. I just have a comment. I see what you did there, and the spots that are there now. Those don't look good at all. And I see that if we can attack these places that are there before someone else,
Yeah.
that doesn't interest in our community and what we want, which is deeply affordable housing, not affordable because affordable can mean to anyone, meaning deeply affordable housing for our community, and create a spot check where we can, I think this community is all for it, because compared to having an empty lot there and the city's not doing anything and
Yeah.
we're waiting for them to get, why not try to be in front of it? And then if we get a mayor that's gonna, the new mayor, if he comes in and pushes our agenda, now we got more money for our banks and we have more to do. But I commend you guys. This looks great. I wish it can be done now.
Same.
And not wait, 5, 6 years from now. We don't know, someone else might want to do something else. So we really need to get on the board and support you or the organization anyway in regards to that. Also in banks, because we see that people coming from outside, borrowing money outside different places and going to other places and getting funding and taking over our community, when we can have a bank here and we could do our own supporting and helping our own and borrowing money and giving it back. It's like recycling. Because other people are not coming to this community. They're getting all the money from West Bubblefield somewhere else, and they're owning our land, and they get a mortgage, and we here stuck with nothing. So it is good that we do a credit union in our community that's going to give money to the community and invest back into the community. So that's really what we need, and I'm glad, and I hope that this goes through. Hopefully, you guys, I know you guys are in good hands and been with us for a long time. So, one, what we mean, two, how our heart is in Bushwick, and three, to make sure that we continue to live in a place where it's getting harder and harder, especially for our seniors and our young kids to continue to live here.
Agree. Thank you.
I have
Any-
a question.
Go ahead.
Number 10 and 11 on your location site, where exactly are they?
10 and 11. 10. Oh, wait, I'm looking at the map right now. So number 10, number 10 is the parking lot south of a school. I should have that on my brain, but it's one
Near
of the public
Broadway.
schools. No, that's along Bushwick Avenue. Bushwick Avenue and
A school?
I'm gonna look it up right now. That's beside a church on Bushwick Avenue and
Oh, on Madison?
I think so.
There's a playing field there.
Yeah, so there's a playground, and then just south of it is the parking lot with a lot of trees around it. And then to the right of it, if you're looking at from Bushwick Avenue, there's a church.
Just on Madison Avenue. On Bushwick. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And where is number 11?
Number 11 is on Broadway, Vatican, and I think Moffett.
Okay.
It's an empty lot, and I think there's a community garden just north of it, which is not part of the lot, because we want to preserve the community garden.
Okay. All right.
I have a question, if I may.
Sure.
This is Jose Guzman. Good evening, everybody. Just two questions. During the BOA designation, what is the role of the community board? in that process? That's my first question. And the second one is about the credit union. We already have a credit union in Bushwick, right? So just how that's going to play out.
For the first question about the community board, we're gathering feedback from you all. And once we send the report, we'll give you a form to give us feedback and all of that. But also, I know I asked Celeste earlier today if we could ask from formal support from you all, but I understand that takes a process from presenting to the committee and then presenting again to you all, which honestly, the deadline of this project is coming up, and we want to figure out if there's a faster way to do that, or if we need to go through the motions, we will do it, or we'll find a way to do it. But at the very least, we'd love for your feedback once we share the report at the end of this month. Can you repeat your second question again?
What role does the board have?
That's what I just answered. The feedback. If we want to solicit feedback from you all towards designation. We'd also love to have your support, but I know that might take a different process of us presenting to the committee.
Yes, you would have to go through committee, then come through the full board. And the second question that he asked was, if there's already a credit union here, why establishing another one?
So that, at the point that we were putting this together, we were not aware of that. That was taken from the Bushwick community plan. I mean, it's not, if you all want another credit union, why not? If you don't want it, we don't have to do that. That's also not the only recommendation on there. There's a bunch of other things as well.
I think that the reason why you guys did that was on the opposite side of Broadway. There is none. Your credit union is on Myrtle, on the Knickerbocker, and on the other side of Broadway by Gates, by Halsey, by Chauncey, Gasco, by Decal, by Myrtle. That's area there. A lot of people don't want to go on that side, and maybe they want, because that's the borderline. Across the street is Best-Buy.
Yeah.
So this side where I live is the forgotten side. I guess that's why they put that there, because my side here, we never hardly get any services on this side, and it's kind of sad. But I'm sorry I have to say that, but that's absolutely true. I lived here 60 years, and I never seen anything on this side besides clubs and wine and drinking. So instead of jobs and banks and services that this community can use. So I guess that was one of the major points. Where is it that the community wanted? We know you have one over there, so why not another one? There's also a Chase of the block. There's also Citibank of the block. There's also a Bank of New York of the block. So the more the merrier to serve the community. My opinion, especially on this side. I got no banks on this side. The other bank is across the street, which is on Best-Buy side. So.
Mr. Camacho, if I may, there are some board members I want to make sure are unmuted right now.
Okay.
So just bear with me one moment. I have a 718-919 number, I believe. Are you there? 718-919?
Yes.
Is that you, Virgie? Okay.
Yes,
Okay. I got you, Virgie. Okay, you're unmuted now. You control your sound. And then also Zuma is with us. I just want to make sure, Zuma, if you're there, I'm going to mute you now so you can control your volume. I'm not able to see the panelists.
Okay, thank you, Celeste. And any other questions?
Yeah, I put a question in the chat. And it was, can you hear me? This is Joanna Bennett. Am I allowed to speak?
Joanna, yeah.
And it was, if approved, when would you expect your plan to be implemented? And one of the things I'm concerned with, when I hear from the New York State Comptroller's Office, it's always reported that New York State is broke. So how it is very poor, particularly in light of COVID, spending so much. So if approved, when would you implement it, and how would it be financed? And are you also thinking in terms of the president's plan for infrastructure? I mean, how is this going to be financed?
Sure. So the BOA program only funds the planning part of the project, of the process, and also gives tax incentives, but it doesn't fund the actual building. It won't fund like the community or whomever brings this project forward will have to figure that out through the developer and partnering with the property owner and all that stuff of like the usual development. But the state will fund the research for it, the planning for it, the staffing for it, but not the construction. So that's a constraint. For timeline, the plan, once we designate it, quote unquote, that's like not necessarily the end of the plan, but like make it official. Implementation for the plan, once we send you the report, it'll have for each recommendation and each quote unquote project will have a timeline. So it'll really like that's estimation on our part. If there are folks in the community who really want to get things done, I think it'll really depend on the players in the room when this will be implemented. But the BOA sets the stage for that to happen and sets the stage for support.
Any other questions?
Barbara.
Barbara? Go ahead, Barbara.
Oh, yes. I think this would be a very good idea. I was on the committee when they made the first study in 1997. And it's a hard process, but it's a good process. So it says people that don't have exact credit and paperwork to open up a bank account. And we have many people in Bushwick, like taxi drivers, and the people with the little restaurants and stuff that could use the credit union. And it's in a good spot if you put it on Bushwick Avenue and Madison. So with I would really appreciate if they put a credit union there, like Barbara said, it's nothing at that end. As soon as you put Broadway, it's just a side. It's nothing anymore. And the credit union that was made in 1997, it changed the name. It's no more.
Yeah.
It's a whole different name now. So
I know, Barbara, you're breaking up, Barbara. They can't hardly hear you. I got a chat that it's very hard to hear you, Barbara. But
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I was saying that this is wonderful to do this on that Bushwick Avenue and Madison area because 1997, when I was on the committee to open up the credit union, it was a Bushwick credit union, but that's no longer a Bushwick credit union. People come from all over the place to open up their credit, and it's only a couple of dollars to open it up. It's cab drivers and like people with restaurants and stuff to use this business. So I think that would be great if it goes forward. And the credit union is supposed to take care of itself. I heard one of the board members saying, where would the money come from? Once it gets open and you get enough community people, the money will be recycled. So that's how the credit union is consistent. I think this would be great for Bushwick. I'm finished.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. One more question, and then that's it. Anyone else?
There's a question from the Q&A, and if just a reminder for folks, if you can please put yourself if you're not speaking. There's some feedback in the background. It's making it difficult to hear.
There's only one. It says Bushwick has one credit union right now, which is on Brooklyn Corporate about 475 Myrtle.
Yeah.
Mr. Camacho, it's in the Q&A. So this is from Keisha. If implemented, you stated that there would be opportunities for grants and financial assistance. Will there be a priority set for Bushwick-based CBOs?
I can only speak to the opportunities for grants and financial assistance. I can send you a link from where this text is from. But from what I understand is the BOA is a way to get priority for projects related to the BOA. And if funding that can be funneled into projects that are related to the BOA, I think priority is meant that the priority is in that framework, in that setting, if that makes sense. I can't speak to other ways of a non-BOA project just because I don't know.
All right, thank you. We have a long agenda. We're gonna move on. Thank you very much. for presentation. Hopefully you'll go through committee, go through the full board, and then we'll talk. We'll get there when we get to that bridge. But thank you for all you guys and all you do. Nice seeing you, and leave your hair grow. You look all right with it. Marcus, are you there?
Yeah. Yep. So Mr. Camacho, yeah, Marcus texted me. Okay. So we're gonna just move on in the agenda. So we do have another special guest speaker with us this evening. So, but I'm waiting for the green light that he's ready to speak.
Okay.
But that does conclude, excuse me, our public hearing agenda. So thank you, everyone. We will now move on to our regular meeting agenda. So if Gabo, are you able to stop sharing?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Please, I'm just going to put my email address on the chat as well if you need anything. I don't.
No problem.
Oh, there's stop sharing.
Okay, so we will move on now. Just give me one moment to pull up our agenda. So we have our first roll call. Board members, please be ready. And if for whatever reason there was some feedback on the folks that have called in, I know who's here that's called in. I have you all already marked for your attendance. So if you're not able to say you're present, I have you here. Just bear with me, please. Starting with Reverend Yates. Reverend Yates was present. Joanna Bennett.
Here.
Dr. Brown.
Present.
Got you, Reverend Yates. Okay. Mr. Brown.
No,
Martha
I'm
Brown.
answering the attendance. Present.
Got you. Raul Brown.
Present.
Joe.
Present.
Gardier Caphart.
I didn't take an attendance.
Carrera.
That's okay.
Felix Ceballos.
Present.
Louisa Chan.
Present.
Andrew Choi. Daniela Davi.
Present.
Anna Davis.
Present.
Fitzgerald. Freddie Fowler.
Present. Sorry, Fitzgerald was here.
Got it. Thank you. Igari Gomez. Ann Guiney.
She waved.
Sorry, present. Yeah.
Got you, Ann. Reverend Gutierrez. Jose Guzman. Nisha Honeygan. Barbara Jackson is excused. Kristen Jock is excused. Cheryl Jones. Virgie Jones.
Present.
Luisa Jose.
Here.
Mary McClellan. I got Mary. There was a siren. The siren from the ambulance was passing by earlier, but I will unmute Mary. Desmond Monroe. Emmy Namir. Lumen Davoa. Asira Polite. Gladys Pulia.
Present.
Raul Rubio.
Present on one of those little screens in front of you.
Eliseo Ruiz.
Eliseo Ruiz, present.
Got you. Julio Salinas. Bernadine Shell. Barbara Smith.
Present.
Justin Sonborn.
Present.
Annette Spellin.
Present.
Jerry Valentine.
Present.
Carlotta Williams.
Present.
Oldolph Wright is excused.
Melissa Carrera put it on the chat.
Okay, I'm gonna do the tally now. Just give me one moment. "28 board members present. That constitutes a quorum. Thank you, everyone. All right, moving on now, the acceptance of the agenda. Is there a motion from the board?
I move to accept the agenda. Raul Rubio.
Second, Robert Camacho.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? So moved. Acceptance of the previous meeting minutes. From the,
I make a motion to accept the previous minutes.
who was the second? Who was the second?
Freddie
James
Fowler,
Fitzgerald.
second.
Okay, Freddie Fowler, I heard Freddie Fowler first. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? So moved. Now bear with me one moment. I just want to make sure that I'm responding to our guest. Right, here we go. Okay. All right. So please let me know, just for folks. Okay. Just for folks to know, please let me know when you're ready. If we have special guest speakers, please let me know if you're ready, either through the chat or via text. Thank you. And Mr. Camacho, my apologies. We will now move on to your report this evening.
Okay. Well, I would like to thank everyone for joining. We would like to give our prayers to Greg Floyd and his family, and everything that's going on in the world. So hopefully everything slow down, if any. Also, I would like to give my condolences to Melissa Carrera, our husband's mother and father passed away. Also, my condolences go out to Isaiah Padlock, family member passed away, and just get well to order of right. I'm not too sure if he's doing well. We have to call him and check up on him. We had him in our thoughts and in our prayers, and hope he feels better. On the board and all of us, and we miss him, and we will send something, and I send him a text. So make sure everybody check up on one another. You know, we're not trying to be nosy, you know, but we want to make sure you're all right. We want to make sure, especially at the tough times that are going now, we really need to take care of each other, especially this hard time, more than anything now, you know. Just check up on one another. We're supposed to be family. Make sure that we're all right. If whatever we can do for anyone, because you know times are rough. Believe me, I know that we're all locked in. You know, we're trying to be safe. Hopefully, God willing, we'll all can meet again soon. And this phone stuff and this thing, I'm not for it. It ain't the same as seeing our people and sitting down and talking, and you know, people telling you their concerns and their issues. And now it's like, I don't know, but we have to look out for each other. So this is just a reminder. Jamie Wiseman is no longer. He didn't renew for next year. Also, we have Victoria Fernandez also resigned. You know her. We know her mother passed away, so you know it's hard. Really, our sympathy goes out to all of them, and we hope there's nothing you can say, but we're praying for them, and I know everything is going to be all right. Also, We need to check, like I said, we need to check up on each other. We really do. You know, we have a lot of seniors, we have a lot of people. We want to make sure that they're safe, and we want to make sure that we're here for them. We're supposed to be a family. So that's what family do. Even if we may not, you don't get along with no one or you don't talk to no one, at least sit down, talk, and let's. The world is too crazy now as it is for us to be like that. So we also have other business. We want to make sure that the committees, as you know, is going to be an election, whoever the chairperson is, or whoever you nominate the committees. We put them all together. If it's not working, if it doesn't work, or people are having hard times, or it's too much, let us know. You know, this is the time we talk. You know, if it's too much, it's too little, or we need something, or whoever wants to. Remember, we have a lot of old timers here, and they want to pass the torch to the new people, to everyone, and they want to do committee. Some people don't want to do it. Some people want to do it. We encourage you. So we want to do less meetings, but more productive, and make sure that we but if you do become the chair and you're going to say, I'm going to do my report, make sure you give the report in time, because we don't want later on, if the report ain't there, and then it goes back to Celeste, because she's supposed to be doing the reports. So if you're going to help, let's all help. If we're not, as you know, we're short one. Willie retired. So we're short one person. So Celeste and Sharon are splitting the work. Also, we also want to welcome back Martha Brown.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
love you. We need that antique stuff to bring us back and how things used to be. You know, because a lot of you in order for us to go forward, we got to know what was behind us. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm glad to be back.
I know when you talk, people listen, because they say, wow, you know, it's like you're like encyclopedia. You can tell us everything around, and it's great, and we love you very much.
Well, thank you. I love all of you, and I missed you all very much, and thanks so much. Thank you for everything. Love you all.
As to my meeting on Thursday, March 18th at 1 p.m., we was in a meeting with the Bushwick Earth Day on Thursday, March 18th at 6 p.m. CEC, which is the Community Education Council, Fair Student Funding. On Thursday, March 18th at 7, the NCO Patrol Borough North, Inspector Moscow. On Saturday, I was in a Zoom meeting with 1325 Broadway in regards to the garden, the Linden Garden. We're still waiting on what's going on with that piece of property. So we're still anticipating something can happen on Sunday, March 21st at 4 p.m. I went to 291 Geralman at the Borough President, a rally with to support the Asian community. Asian community, as you see what's going on, we need to take care of our people and make sure we protect them just like they will protect us. On Monday the 22nd at 6 o'clock, CB4, the Environmental Protection and Transportation and Parks Committee. On Tuesday, the 23rd at 6 p.m., the NCO meeting, Sector Charlie. On Wednesday, March 24th at 6 p.m., Know Your Rights Virtual Tenant Workshop, Part 2 with Assemblywoman Marissa Davila. On Thursday, the 25th, the district office committee met. On Friday, the 26th, at CB4 Housing Land Use. On Thursday, April 1st, at 5 p.m., Sanitation Work Group. On Friday, April 2nd, we met with RAD. On on Friday, April 2nd at 9:30, 85 Palmetto. They were giving the second shots for the seniors there. On Tuesday, April 6th, the Brooklyn Borough Board presentation. And in that Brooklyn Borough presentation was New York City Department of City Planning and Zoning for assembly. Also the Cold Spring Harbor on DNALC NYC at City Tech's opening for 2021 summer camp in New York City. Department of New York City Campaign Finance Board on ranked choice voting. Hopefully, it's late, but we should have had more. I don't know why. Why are they pushing that ranked choice voting and it's too late? And somebody should have stopped it because a lot of people don't have education in regards to that. And it's sad, especially our seniors. You know, I don't know, we're picking one person. Imagine picking 500 people in one slip. And it's terrible. So we really, something needs to be done about that. We need education before they even start a program, because they always put a program on, and then we got to learn as we go. And when mistakes go and we get people that don't represent us or picking people that don't represent the community that are suffering, then we're up the river without a paddle. On April 7th, Wednesday, the Executive Board. April 8th, Thursday, at 4 p.m. CB4, we had a meeting. On April 8th at 6 o'clock, the HSHSC Veterans Committee. On April 13th, Tuesday, the EDC Permits and License. On April 14th, the District Cabinet Service. At the District Cabinet Service, we had DOB, National Grid, Department of Aging, Department of Construction, the Attorney General's Office, Parks Department, Fire Department, Health Department, the Controller's Office, MTA. As you know, they're going to start painting the trusses of the train. Con Edison was there, DOT, DHS, which is Department of Housing Services, Consumer Work Protection. And then on Saturday, April 17th at 11, we had Earth Day on Irving Square Park. Let me tell you, man, we had RAD, all the bosses from RAD, Hope Garden, was out there raking the lawn and cleaning. It was it was really, really great. And on Sunday, I went to they also had Earth Day in Maria Hernandez Park. On Tuesday the 20th, the Bushwick Community Plan. Today, the 21st, this morning at 10 o'clock, I was in the 8th Precinct Clergy. And today, Wednesday at 6 o'clock, the full community board meeting. And any questions, anything in regards to my report, anything that you guys want to answer, now it's the time to answer it. Let's not wait.
Hello, Robert. Chuck Schumer. Hi.
Hey, Chuck, how are you?
I'm good. Go ahead. Finish. I don't want to. Muy bien.
Okay. All right. I want to finish my report now because.
Great.
I
Celeste.
was just going to say we have our special guest with us, our United States Senator. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew that he was here. So feel free, board members, if you have questions now for Mr. Camacho, by all means. Otherwise, Senator, we defer to you. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you. Should we wait are there any questions for Mr. Camacho, or should I get moving?
Going once, going twice, board members? Hearing none, take it away, Senator.
Thank you. Well, first, I want to thank all of you for service on the Community Board 4. I know your board well, Bushwick. I ride my bicycle through your neighborhood all the time. In fact, I live in...
And I hope you wear a helmet, and I hope you stop at the lights, and I hope you go the right way.
I do. You know what's my favorite route? I don't know if anyone lives. I'm Jewish, but I have a church that I pray in. And it's not in your district, but I go through your district to get there. It's St. Matthias in Ridgewood on Catalpa Street. So the best route to get there is on Green Street. So I ride through Green Street through your whole district from Broadway all the way to the Queens line. And I sometimes take some of the other streets too. And I go to Bushwick. I ride through Bushwick all the time up to Flushing Avenue. So I'm not a spandex guy, you know, I'm not going at 40 miles an hour. I go nice and slow and I talk to people and I see what's going on. And so I know your district very, very well. It's a great district.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you. So anyway, first I want to thank all of you for your service on the community board. I want to thank Robert, who's the chair. I want to thank Celeste, our district manager, and everybody else for being part of the board. I am a community person. I started out as a tenant organizer, and I know how important the board is to a place like Bushwick, which is such a beautiful neighborhood, so diverse, so many different kinds of people, and so many people struggling to do okay. So it's really important that you serve, and I appreciate that very, very, very much. As I said, I started out as a tenant organizer in southern part of Brooklyn, Sheepshead Bay, where I'm from. Went to Madison High School. My father was an exterminator, never made much money. So I know what it's like to climb up that ladder, and I know that's what you're trying to do. And we need our community boards. They're just fabulous. And I want to say to all of you, thank you for serving, because I know how it is. When things go wrong, you hear it from everybody. When things go right, no one says thank you. And you don't get paid very much on this job. We know that. So I just wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you for caring about the Bushwick community, which is so important and part of Brooklyn. First, before I called to let you know what's in our ARP bill. There's a lot of help for a lot of people. And I'm spreading the word here, because all the money that we got for New York and for the people of your community, if it doesn't end up in their hands and in the hands of organizations that help them, it won't work out. So I'm going to talk about that. But first, I do want to say a few words about the verdict in the Derek Chauvin trial yesterday. The guilty verdict serves as an official proclamation of what we've known for a year. George Floyd was murdered by an officer. The officer was sworn to protect and serve, but he didn't. But I wanted to say this as majority leader. By the way, I'm the first majority leader ever from New York. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, as majority leader, I want to make it clear that we're not going to mistake a guilty verdict as evidence that the problem of police misconduct has been solved, or that the divide between law enforcement and the community has been bridged, because we know it hasn't. So we have to remain really diligent in our effort to bring meaningful change to police departments across the country, to reform the practices and the training and the legal protections that grant too great a shield to police officers guilty of misconduct. So last year, I put together a group led by Cory Booker and Kamala Harris. She's no longer a senator, as I guess you all know. But they put together, working with Ben Crump. You've all seen Ben Crump on TV the last few days. He was George Floyd's lawyer, and he's the most brilliant civil rights lawyer. And we put together something called the Justice in Policing Act, which is the most comprehensive bill to deal with the systemic bias of police departments in the country. And it would ban racial and religious profiling. It would ban chokeholds and no-knock warrants. It would create a publicly available nationwide database on police misconduct and bigotry. And the two most important things, it would eliminate qualified immunity. So if a police officer did something that was bigoted or racist, and God forbid someone died or was hurt, the family could sue. That's a very important thing. And it would say that the intent standard is so high you can never go after police officers do this. It would change it. This is the most ambitious and far-reaching federal proposal ever to reform police departments, and right now we're trying to get it passed. Cory Booker, since Kamala's not here anymore, she's the vice president, is leading the charge. We're going to fight hard for that. And we want to make sure that George Floyd's death was not in vain, plain and simple. And we're not going to rest till the Senate passes strong legislation. And if you want, I will send you a copy so everyone in the board can see it, Robert, if that's okay with you. I got a lot of things to send you. Okay.
Yes.
Now let's go to the Covet Bill. The bill we passed is the most progressive piece of legislation affecting more people, poor people, and middle-class people than has been passed in about 50 years. And it's very, very important people know. One of the major things we put in the bill was vaccines. We made sure that communities of color go first, not last. And now there's enough vaccines that anyone over 16 can just line up and get one. And Robert, and if you don't have enough sites in your community board area, call me. We will get another site. I made sure that all community health centers could get the vaccines. Those are neighborhood clinics. Do you have some of them gotten it in Community Board 4?
Well, we have a health department building there. Maybe we can work something out and put them in the health department building.
Wherever you need to put them so they're and please urge people to get the vaccine. It's safe.
Yes.
You know, my parents, praise God, are 97 and 92. They got the vaccine. They're okay. This vaccine is not like the others. I know a lot of people of color don't want to get vaccines because they oftentimes use people of color as guinea pigs in this stuff. No more. It's really changed. Please urge people to get the vaccine. And we're trying to make it so that there'll be enough vaccines that everyone will have one. And by June 1st, it'll be middle of June, there'll be enough people in New York City vaccinated that we can go back to our normal lives. And that's an important thing. Second, before I get into the bill, I want to assure you that those horrible people who took over the Capitol on January 6th, let me tell you my story. I get to the floor of the Senate as the first time, because on January 6th, we won the elections in Georgia, making me this majority leader. And I learned that at 4 a.m. January 6th morning. I get in my car, go down to D.C. I'm on the floor of the Senate for only an hour when a police officer in a bulletproof vest and a machine gun on his waist grabs me by the collar like this. I'll never forget it. And he says, "Senator, you're in danger. We got to get out of here." And you may have seen this because they showed it on TV. The overhead cameras caught it. We walk out of the door of the Senate. I turn to the right. I'm walking briskly with these officers. I go in a door. You can't see me. And 20 seconds later, we're running out at full speed. I was within 20 feet of, am I allowed to use a curse word? We're in Brooklyn. You know, I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah, you can say it. I'm going to let you say it. Don't worry about it. We got, if there's a pastor here, cover your ears, but go ahead.
I was within 20 feet of these bastards. Let me tell you. If one of them had a gun, if two of them had blocked the door, I wouldn't be here. But now the good news is we're prosecuting them. There are 400 of them who have been, they're racist, they're insurrectionists, they're horrible human beings, as is Donald Trump, who led the whole thing. But they're now arrested, 400 of them, and we're going after them the full extent of the law. So that was the low point of January 6th. But now we're coming back. As I said, we've gotten the vaccines, so there's enough vaccines for everyone. We're prosecuting these people. Trump's no longer on Twitter. By the way, he gave up his New York citizenship. Good riddance. I never want him to come back again. He was the worst president we have ever had. He was a liar. He was the biggest liar I ever met. If he was talking to Community Board 4 like this on the Zoom, and then he walked downstairs and there's a reporters outside, they'd say, "Did you just talk to Community Board 4? He'd say no. And his blood pressure wouldn't go up a bit. He's just a patent liar. He's a racist.
He wouldn't have come here because I would have shut him off.
Good for you, Robert. Thank you. Well, good. He ain't coming. He's in Florida. He can sit there. But in any case, so we passed this bill and now we're doing good. We're doing good with the vaccines. Here's other things, the checks. Anyone whose income is below 75,000, if your income is below 150,000, if you're a couple, you should have gotten already a $1,400 check in the last few weeks. And that's per person. So if you're a family of 4, you should have gotten $5,600. And it applies to children, college kids who are still living at home, disabled adults, as well as all kids. This is very important. And if people haven't gotten the checks, Robert, they should call the community board. I have my staffer, Steve Barton and Julieta Lopez, on the Zoom. We can help them if they haven't gotten the checks, if their income is that. So 90% of the people in Board 4 should get the checks.
Okay, we'll make sure that if people don't have it, to make sure they call the office, and we'll link with you to make sure that they can get their checks.
Okay. We got money. Okay. The second thing we're getting is people don't know this. It's called we've doubled what's called the child tax credit and the earned income tax credit. If you make below $75,000 as a single parent, if you make below $150,000 as a couple, starting in July, you will get a check, $250 a month for any child 6 to 17, $300 a month for a child 0 to 6, per child for a whole year. This is going to take half the kids in New York out of poverty. When a young child is born into poverty, they don't get properly fed sometimes, properly clothed, proper education, proper health care. When they're 18, they're in a deep ditch. Now, to their credit, some of them climb out on their own, but a lot can't, and I don't blame them. So now, with this money in people's pockets, that's much less likely to happen, and that's going to start coming. Let people know in July. So once this checks have expired, there's that. And this bill is so good that the top, okay, I'll do that. The next thing is that we got money for all our small businesses and restaurants. I ride my bicycle down sometimes Knickerbocker Avenue, Bushwick Avenue. I see stores closed. There's now going to be money for every small business and every restaurant. The restaurants get a 6-month grant. They're really hurting because they've been shut down. And the small businesses can get for 24 weeks. And all of this money, the restaurant money, they can use it for wherever they want. The small business can pay the worker's salary. It can go to rent. It can go to anything they need. And it can go to undocumented as well as documented, which is very, very good. And so spread the word on that. If you have small businesses that haven't applied for this money, make sure they do. Make sure they do. And I will get you information on all this. And there are phone numbers. We got money for what's called CDFIs and MDIs, Community Development Financial Institutions and Minority Development Financial Institutions. And they have people now that paid for by the federal government that'll answer the phone and give people, to show these small businesses, it applies to nonprofits, how to get this money. There's money for them. Okay. Next thing, this is not known as well. We got rid of the prohibition on Pell Grants for anyone incarcerated. There are a lot of young men and young women who are in prison. A lot of them just had a small amount of marijuana in their pocket, and they get a big sentence because marijuana, until, at the federal level, is such a high level drug, which it shouldn't be. I'm trying to decriminalize it right now and legalize it. You may have heard about that. I said 420 should be a semi-national holiday on the internet yesterday. That got around. But in any case, now they can get Pell Grants. So if a young man or young woman's in prison, they can take a technical course, they can take a community college course, they can take a college course. So when they get out, they could have a good life. Here's another thing we did. Who's your Congress? Is Nydia Velasquez your Congress member?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. This I did with AOC. She's nearby, Ocasio-Cortez. She called me up because she represents Corona in Queens. That had the highest death rate. And it broke your heart to see these kids and adults pushing their face against the glass in the hospital because their loved one was dying of COVID. And they couldn't kiss them, they couldn't hug them, they couldn't touch them goodbye. And then adding insult to injury because they had no money. They couldn't give these people a funeral or a burial. We have 7,000 people just in morgues waiting. So we wrote a law. She called me up, AOC. She said, what are we going to do? I said, I bet I can get the law changed. I did. There's now $9,000 for funeral expenses. And we will distribute to you. There's a hotline phone number that anyone can call, and there are people waiting. And if you paid for the funeral previously, guess what? You can get reimbursed up to $9,000. And we plugged in the funeral parlors about this, but I want to get you that phone number, and I can't find it here.
Can you send it, or we'll send it to the boards? We'll send them out. If you send a package.
It's a hotline. Yeah. Okay. We got money for all the subways. No one should be, you got a lot of subway workers and bus drivers in your district. None of them will be laid off, and no cutbacks in service. We got money for the state and local governments, the same thing. No one should be laid off or cut. Got a lot of city workers, hospital workers. They're all saved. So that is a very good thing as well. And there's money, listen to this, for churches. The churches are vital to our community. They're dying. There's no one showing up at church. There's no collection plate. Whether they be Protestant, Evangelista, or Catholic, they can, or Muslim, or Jewish, or anything. They can get this money to help pay the pastor and keep the church going for 6 months. Please let them know. Most of them don't know this. We've let the Baptists know, we've let the Evangelistas know, but they're not the word isn't out there yet. So it's important to let people know about that. Let's see what else I'm leaving out. Oh, there's money for rental housing, $2.1 billion. I worked with Jonathan and Sia Weaver, forgot Jonathan's last name now, the Housing Coalition. If someone can't pay the rent, there is money to pay their rent. There is money right now to pay their rent. So for 6 months, so they won't get kicked out. Again, I'll get you the information, who to apply to, okay?
Okay.
They will not, because someone gets kicked out of their house, they never recuperate, and they're homeless. There's also...
Not only that, when they leave, and if it's a person that wasn't paying that much and that had that much, we're gonna have they're gonna sky up the rent to $2,000 or $3,000.
You got it. You got it.
So sure that we keep, especially our seniors and the people, to make sure that we can continue to live here.
Yeah, you got it. Well, this will keep them in their homes. So make sure, again, this is something that's very, very important. Okay? So those are some of the things in the bill, and I will get you the information. Please, community board members, spread the word. If you're a member of an organization, let them know this applies to nonprofits as well as small businesses, churches, as I said. Get the word out about all these things so people can get the money. This bill is so good. Let me tell you the difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. When the Republicans had a chance, you know what they did in their big bill? They cut taxes for the very rich. The top 1% got 83% of the benefit. You know what the top 1% got in our bill that we just passed? Nada, zero. And the bottom 20% got an increase. The poorest people got 20% increase in income to help them pay the rent, feed their families, and do everything else. We got money for the food banks too. When I ride down Green Street, there's a big food bank right by Broadway.
Yeah.
I see people lined up all the time. Make sure these food banks know that there's money, there's help for them, so they can have enough good food for people, good healthy food. Okay, so that's basically
Senator,
it.
I
could
have a
ask a
question
few
for the
questions.
senator.
Yes.
Hi, Senator Annette Spellin.
Hi, Annette.
How are you, dear? And thank you so much for your service. Listen, we're doing things to help those the renters, deal with the fact that they can't pay their rent. But we also have a problem with homeowners who can't pay their mortgages because their renters are not paying.
Thank you, Annette. There's $9 billion to help people pay the mortgage so you're not foreclosed on. Same thing as the renter. I'll make sure that information's in the sheet. And let me say one other thing. You have in Bushwick a lot of little landlords, you know.
Yes.
Like we lived in a 2-family house when I grew up.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's what I live.
About the landlord, if the guy can't pay, the tenant can't pay the rent, what's this little landlord going to do? There's money for them too. Not for the big shot landlords, but for the little tiny landlords that may have a 1 or 2 or 3 family house.
That's
But Annette, there's money for the foreclosure, to prevent foreclosure on a mortgage too.
Any other question?
Barbara,
I
Right,
don't have a
Barbara.
question, but my name is Mary McClellan, and I thank you, Senator, for coming to tell us because of this money, so that we can apply for it and get it, because it is needed in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss McClellan. Appreciate it.
That's one of my seniors. We love her.
I love to say, hey,
Yeah, my wife calls her my old lady, really physically.
hey, I have parents 97 and 92. What do you think of that?
Bless you.
My father's a funny guy. He's 97. I said he was an exterminator his whole life. You know what he says? I'm 97. How bad could DDT have been?
Just one question.
Any other questions for the senator?
Yeah, just
Hello,
one
hi.
question, Louisa.
Okay, Louisa.
Senator, thank you for coming.
Hi,
I work in
Louisa.
a nursing home, and the issue we're having now that a lot of the death certificate says died of natural causes.
I know.
The family changed that.
Yes, we have to get it changed for this funeral money. We're working right now with the federal government. Congresswoman AOC and I are working with the federal government. And most of the death certificates that said this was in the early days, you know, last year when they didn't know what COVID was. So we're trying to say if the symptoms are the same, that it will count. And I think we'll get that worked out.
Oh, good. Thank you.
It's a great question, Louisa. Did you call up and that's what they told you?
No, I'm just asking now.
Yep, okay.
Because I got 2 calls today at work.
Yep, good. Well, you tell them we're working that out.
Any other questions?
Barbara.
Yes.
I have a question.
Barbara, wait 1 second. Barbara first, then Desmond.
Hi, and I'm so happy that you came to Bushwick. I'm Barbara Smith. I'm also the president of the 83rd Precinct Community Council.
Oh, good. Oh, listen, I forgot to say this. Oh, you're reminding me of things.
Uh-oh.
So we got money for just 1 sec. We got money for the school boards, and your local school board will get money, and I made sure it went by Chapter 1. So the poorer districts get more money and the rich suburban districts don't. The governor got mad at me for that, but so be it. But listen to this. There's money for the school boards to have after school, night, and summer school.
Wow.
So talk to your local school board. And there's money, your precinct council can apply because it's a nonprofit as well.
Yeah.
But let me just say this about the schools. I went to James Madison High School in Brooklyn, and I hung out at night at the Madison Night Center. Now, my parents didn't have any money. I was out on the streets. But because I had a place to go, it kept me on the straight and narrow. I played basketball every night.
Yeah.
I like to let people know our team wasn't very good. You know what our motto was at Madison High School? We may be small, but we're slow. But now there's money there for after-school night centers and drug programs, anti-drug programs.
Right.
So you can apply for that 85th precinct. I forgot your name, but you could apply.
Barbara Smith.
Miss Smith, you can apply.
Yeah. Now, my question was, I'm seeing all this money you're putting in all these programs. Our community board 4 has two workers there. The city keeps saying they don't have any money to hire anybody else. Where are you finding the money? And our local city people can't find any money for Celeste and Sharon Ford to have a helper in the community board 4. They are under a ton of work in Bushwick. We need more help in the community board 4, and then they need to hire somebody else to help them out.
It's a good question.
They paid him.
Let me make a suggestion. You see, the money doesn't go. I got de Blasio, the city of New York, $6 billion. Use that for whatever he wants. So I would suggest that the community boards, Robert, get together and make a request, all of you. How many? There's like 70 community boards, I guess, in the whole
59.
city. 59. All 59 community boards in the city get together and make a request to hire an extra person or two. During COVID, you need it to help get these ideas out. And I will, if you get the community board organization, this is a great suggestion by Ms. Smith. I will get on the phone with you with de Blasio and say, hey, we got you all this money. Why don't you use some for this?
All right.
Why we can't do it with our own community board? We have 46 or 7 community board 4 members. Why we all can't write a letter? What you
Dora,
think?
we'll do a call with de Blasio, but let's get all the community boards to do it. Then he'll have to pay attention.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Make a good idea.
Next one. Hello.
Yeah, so my question was about like state contract spending and infrastructure, because we understand that a lot of the MWBE businesses and veteran-owned businesses were really affected by COVID, and some may not reopen. A good pathway to economic development is through city, state, and federal contracting vehicles. What are we doing about increasing the compliance behind the MWBE spending so that way businesses have another avenue?
Yes, we tried to put, Desmond, we tried to put communities of color first in just about anything we did, whether it was the school money or the vaccines or whatever. And in this next bill, which is the infrastructure bill that's coming up, he calls it Biden Build Back Better. We say 25% of all the new business has to go to minority women businesses. Okay, 25%. It'll be a real, because it's billions of dollars. So, and we will make sure that's enforced. We got to pass the bill first. But I agree with you. They talk a good game, but they don't do it. We will require it.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other?
No,
Yes. Hi, Senator Schumer. This is Louisa Chan.
Hi, Louisa.
Hi. I wanted to thank you for advocating for New Yorkers and really fighting for what sounds like a great bill. I have a practical question, and it has to do with the Biden infrastructure bill too. I think there's been so much disinvestment in our MTA and capital infrastructure. Whenever I go to, before COVID, I used to travel a lot. And, most of the other places that I visited, many other countries, have much better, more modern infrastructure. And it's just really shocking and appalling when you come back from, those places, international, and you come back to a decrepit, airport and decrepit and slow, creaky trains and stuff like that. Like, what are we doing, or I guess, what are you doing to advocate for New Yorkers to make
Biden's
sure
bill, Louisa. Yeah, Biden's bill has $2 trillion for infrastructure. And if we pass that, since I'm majority leader now, we'll get a lot of it to New York. I've already gotten enough money to the subways that they can start doing some rehab. First bit of money was so they shouldn't close, during COVID, because at the beginning, no one was going on the subways, so there were no fares. But now they don't close. They can't lay off anybody. We have a lot of subway workers in the minority and poorer communities, bus drivers, things like that. And, but now we're getting money for capital. And if we get this $2 trillion, we can modernize our whole subway system. We can create more subway lines, and we can build that gateway tunnel, and listen to this, there'll be about 10 million new jobs created. And this relates a little bit to what Desmond was asking before. 40% of the new jobs have to go to people on minimum wage, part-time wage, people who just got out of prison. In other words, people who would never have an opportunity to become a construction worker, which is a very good paying job. And you don't need to be a PhD in, astrophysics to get a construction job. And it's a good paying job. So this can change America, just like the child poverty thing. But we have a huge infrastructure plan. Now we got to get it passed. I only have 50 votes. I got to get everybody to vote for it. That's not so easy, but so far so good.
Okay, and I have one question, Martha Brown. I have one question, and it's really a request. We must continue to support Amtrak. Yep. Amtrak is the backbone of America. So please, we've got to get some funds in there for Amtrak.
There's $80 billion in Biden's proposal for Amtrak.
Wonderful news.
Take it. I use it.
Me too.
Celeste, you have a question?
No, just letting everyone else ask questions. That's fine.
I'm finished. Thank you so much, Senator. I love you. I've loved you for the last 30 or 40 years. You've been wonderful out for our community and wonderful for our country.
But Celeste, I'm only 25 years old.
I know.
I can tell. 'Cause I remember when Vito Lopez was here.
Oh yeah.
And you had came here and
To the senior side, I used to go to Thanksgiving and carve turkeys.
that's right.
That's right.
And Linden 195, Anna Gonzalez was our chair.
That's right.
I remember.
Anyway, thank you, Senator.
Yes, we want to thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
What you do for us. We're here for you.
Good.
Always
Likewise. I will get you the information and distribute it. And if you need help, any of the groups or individuals need help, they should call my folks, Julieta Lopez and Robert,
Camacho.
Steve Barton. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, Barton. Okay. Thank you,
Thank
Senator.
you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Be safe. Be
Thank
safe.
you, Senator.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Be safe, sir.
And the New Yorkers are coming to you, Daddy.
All right, everyone. So we're going to go ahead and move on with our meeting agenda. I believe that was a very important, informative discussion. I'm glad we were able to have it. Now we will move on to resume the end of Mr. Camacho's report. I did want to just make one note regarding ranked choice voting. So we have spoken to both our elected official representatives. I just want to quickly thank the Controller's Office. Harris was able to connect us to the Campaign Finance Board. One of the contacts is a liaison that we have. But we're in conversation with them to have them do a presentation next month during our full board meeting, as well as having another group come back in June to provide another overview, just so folks have a little bit more information. You see it a little bit more often, you can understand it a little bit better. And that's again about ranked choice voting. Also, a quick reminder for folks on the nomination committee, just to take a minute right now, if there are any volunteers for nomination committee chairperson. This is just to make sure that we have a record of who's going to be spearheading the elections in May next month. I will let everyone know again, you should have received the form either online or in the mail. But this year's nomination committee includes Desmond Monroe, Barbara Jackson, Mary McClellan, Melissa Carrera, Dustin Sonborn, Gladys Fulia, and Annette Spellin. If any of those committee members, first of all, thank you very much for volunteering. If any of those committee members would like to either volunteer or select someone, volunteer someone else to be the nomination committee chairperson, this is the time.
Yeah, we need someone to be the chair of the committee. So if you guys, we got to work it out now, so like that we'll have it when we meet. Is there any recommendation from you guys?
What about Mary?
Mary,
What about Mary?
are you willing to accept to be this year's nomination committee chairperson? It doesn't really change the responsibilities. The only thing that's different is that I'll just be touching base with you on the plan for this year. I'll give you a phone call and then I'll let you know what the committee needs to do. And then you basically give me your feedback. If everything sounds good, then it sounds good. And we just move forward.
Okay, I'll go for that.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. McClellan. And thank
Anybody
you.
second from the committee?
Yes, anyone else from the committee? Support Ms. McClellan?
Who's on that committee? Whoever's on the AHA committee.
I second
Well,
that, Mr. Kennedy.
Annette named her.
Yes, Annette named it and Dustin seconded.
Yes.
Thank you,
Okay.
Dustin. All
All in
right.
favor?
Yep.
Aye.
Any opposed,
Thank
any
you.
abstentions? Thank you, nomination committee members. I will follow up with you shortly once we receive the forms. Friendly reminder, please submit your forms. The deadline is next Friday.
Yep.
All right. And now moving on with this portion of the meeting agenda, we now have introduction of elected official representatives. So I know in the beginning of the meeting, I added all of our elected official reps that were on then as panelists. So I'm just going to call you by name. I have a short list here, starting with Marcus. Are you still there, Marcus?
I am still here.
Excellent. Name and contact information.
Sure. Marcus Harris, Officer Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams, 718-802-3909. Cell phone is 917-324-2680.
Celeste, can you give me a few seconds, please? I would like, Marcus, I would like to thank you because we know that now, with the term limits and the borough president, we would like to thank the borough president for all that he has done for us and all that. If he's going to do, or we hope that he is, or going to continue to support Bushwick, and we love him, and we want to thank you and your crew for giving us all the support and helping us guide through this rough time that we had, and we're gonna miss you, and I'm gonna like that beard, man. That beard looks good.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
The borough president is going to be the next mayor.
Oh boy.
I'm telling you right now.
We shall see. So moving on in Julio. Julio, are you there? Julio Salazar?
Yes.
Okay,
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Julio Salazar from Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez's office. Phone number is 718-599-3658. Thank you.
Thank you. Andres?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Andres. I'm here on behalf of the Assemblywoman Maritza Davila. Our phone number is 718-443-1205. Thank you.
And Harris?
Hi, this is Harris Khan. My number is 929-512-1946. Email address hkhan@comptroller.nyc.gov. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm the community liaison for City Comptroller Scott Stringer's office. We also love Bushwick, Mr.
Yeah, thank you. We love you too. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we have our introductions. If I missed anyone from an elected official office, it was not intentional. Please just drop me a line in the chat and I will make sure you have an opportunity. We will now move on to our agency representatives. I have a few here from my list.
Celeste.
Yes.
I just have this is Joanna. When these people are saying their names, could they also say whether anyone is physically in their offices? And that's a good thing to know. If people to give out phone numbers is one thing, but is anyone physically in their offices during this COVID when you try to reach somebody? So it will be helpful just to know that when they give their name and say, yes, there's somebody in the office. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, everyone heard Miss Bennett. So please just modify your introductions and make sure we know if someone is physically in the office. Just give me one moment so I can unmute folks. I'm going to go through the list that I have here. Again, if you're not on this list, it's not intentional. I'm just going based on who I see. And I'm going to put everyone together. So if you don't want to say anything, that's perfectly fine. But starting with Karina Lozada from CORE. Karina, are you there?
Yes, hi. Karina Lozada, staff attorney with Communities Resist. We are working remotely, but you can reach me at the number I'm going to give you guys now, 646-974-8773. That's our direct line, and my cell is 929-280-7432. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Damaris I have from Department of Buildings. Damaris, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. So yes, my name is Damaris from Department of Buildings. Right now we're still working remote, but we're actually going to be going back to the office starting May 3rd. But my phone number is 646-618-4728. And my email is D as in David, F as in Frank, A, L as in Larry, ERO @buildings.nyc.gov. Thank you.
Thank you, Damaris.
All right. And moving on, I have Julia Foster. Julia?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Name and contact info?
Hi, Julia. I'm the Community Outreach Liaison for School Districts 32 and 14. Contact information 917-612-7830. Oh, sorry, 7831. Apologies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and I have Myra Mara. Myra?
Hi, yes, my name is Myra Mera from the North Brooklyn Coalition Against Family Violence. Our offices right now are in remote and in person by appointment for in person. And you can feel free to call me on my cell phone at 314-635-0272. And you can also call us at our office at 718-302-4073. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Noel Allen? Noel? Are you there, Noel? Name and contact info?
Elaine from the Bushwick Star Theater. The best way is to email us at this time, noel@thebushwickstar.org, or my cell phone is 917-620-8546.
I know.
Hi, Robert.
All right. And let me just scroll one more time to make sure I got everyone. Again, if I didn't call your name, not intentional, please just let us know. And I know now we have our captain. So I will transition right into our captain's report from the 83rd Precinct. I'm going to make you a panelist. You should be able to control your video and sound now. Captain Sanabria.
All right. Oh. Hello, you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hello, everyone. Abe Sanabria. I just want to update you guys, everyone, on the CO spot, the commanding officer spot. You know, D.I. Casaza recently retired. He retired on March 31st. And a new CO, a new commanding officer, has not been appointed yet. However, they have made me the acting commanding officer. And I just want to let everyone know that even though we don't have a commanding officer, everything is being done to make sure that Bushwick community is safe, and all our services are continuing. So until that time, hopefully it's within the next week or two, but I can't promise anything. So that's where we're at right now with that. Also, there's a new captain with us, Sean Claxton. He just got promoted from the 7-7 precinct. He came over to the 8-3, and now he's with us, and he's helping me out in leading Bushwick and all the cops in Bushwick. With that said, just really quick in regards to crime. Once again, property crimes is our issue. What I have noticed lately is a lot of fraud calls, meaning people are you would get a phone call and they would say, you know, your grandson or your child is in jail. You need to send money to this particular place. And it's usually just a fraud call, and people do that because obviously they want their family member out of jail. And that's what they fall for. But, you know, I just want to make sure that everyone is aware that these calls are fraud. And if you ever do want to know if someone is in jail, you just call the precinct or call the precinct, and we could let you know if someone's in jail anywhere in the city. So, you know, things like that, just be aware of. Burglaries are happening. Packages out on the porches are being stolen. Please make sure you leave it with a neighbor, or in a lockbox, or if you're ordering from Amazon, they have those Amazon boxes, or at the local pharmacy, they'll hold it for you, and you can pick it up and not have to file a complaint because your property has been stolen. So with that, I think that that pretty much sums up the crimes. I just want to let you know. There was an incident on Halsey Street, I believe 2 days ago, where it was a domestic violence issue where the son did not want to let the mother and brother and sister out of the house. It became kind of like a hostage situation where, we had to call ESU. There was a helicopters there, but thank God everything was taken. No one was hurt. We were able to get the family members out, and we were able to take the perpetrator into custody. So no one was hurt, and I know that people were calling. People were calling the community affairs. People were calling me to find out what was going on. So I just wanted to make sure you guys know that everything was fine. One of our officers was hurt, but minor injuries. He should be back at work. So if there's any questions, please let me know. I could take them right now.
I have a question, Carlotta Williams. How do you handle these fraud calls? Because I've been called, hi grandma. I don't have grandchildren, but I have, hi grandma.
Yeah.
So how do you handle these calls?
The best thing to do is to hang up and block the call. You can block the call on your phone. You can, you look at the phone number, and there should be an option where you can block the phone so that phone number will never come through again. If you are the victim of a fraud, you can go to the police department, and we will take a report and investigate it as best as we can. But like I said, ignoring these and making yourself aware and others aware that this is an issue, you will not become the victim of a crime.
A lot of well, people like say they're from Medicare, health insurance and stuff like that. I think that the elderly are targeted.
Absolutely. That's why it's very important to understand, to let everyone know, your family members, your elderly family members, that they, anytime anyone calls them, whether they're Con Ed, Con Ed also, T-Span, same thing. Hey, your phone, your gas bill is due. If you don't pay right now, it's going to get canceled, right? So they even tried that on me once. I hung up the phone and I called Keyspan. So you call Keyspan, you verify it, but they will never ever contact you via phone. It's usually by letter or something like that. So just make sure everyone is educated in that. And I think education is the key in these fraud scams.
That's true. Thank you.
This is Louisa Chan. I actually work for Con Ed, so there's
there you
these
go.
fraud concerns all the time. And
Mhm.
just to let other members know, utility companies will never ask you for your personal information. And if they ever say your bill is due and they tell you to pay by gift card, that's a fraud. So that's another thing. We never ask you to pay using gift cards because, that's just not how we do business. You have to pay through the the company portal or by check.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Captain Sanabria, I want to thank you and your manpower because what's going on in the world today and what's happening, and the morale doesn't feel like you guys ain't doing anything, but we know you are, and we see them out there. They did a clean initiative on Saturday, me and Celeste, when we had the auxiliaries, the youth, kids, they were helping us clean the park all day. And I just want to thank you because I know that there needs to be a change, but it should be a change, a positive change where we can all work together and make sure that you have the service you need to protect us and vice versa. So I just want to thank you. And we hope that you stay with us, and we want to fight that you stay with us and become our officers. So we will make sure, because we don't know who we're going to get. We know who we got, but we don't know who we're going to get. So we want to make sure that the people that are there, that understands Bushwick and here to support us and to give us, crime is going to happen, but we're going to make sure that together we're going to stop crime and make sure we're all protected. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. That's much appreciated. And thank
Can I
you for
say
coming
something,
by
please?
the other day for the roll call, speaking to our third platoon as they turned out.
Yeah.
They appreciated it, knowing that the community is behind them. I appreciate that.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Hey, Robert, can I say something, please, real short to the police guy?
Yes, to the captain.
The captain, yes, I do apologize. My name is Alicia Ruiz. I'm from Covet Street and Knickerbocker. And Robert said it all. You guys are doing a great job. We have the best precinct in the city. We got good people there. I need help in you educating me so I can educate the idiots that are riding the little scooters on the bike. It's getting worse. I don't want to say what nationality, but it's the Spanish people riding these damn scooters. up and down the block on Knickerbocker, a group of about 6 or 7.
Yes.
That they just come back on the summer, they're going to kill somebody on the sidewalk. And then, unfortunately, it's going to be retaliation because you're getting killed on a sidewalk that you belong there. And I know that I spoke to the officer before, and he said you can't chase these people down. But please, if there's anything that I could do or you could do, please let me know so we can do something about this before it gets out of more worse in the summertime. And you don't have to tell me now. We can talk about it another time. Because I know it's all over the city here happening with the scooters.
Yes. Thank you, Eliseo. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Have a great day, and you continue to do a good job.
All right, thank you. We are trying to address the issue. It is illegal. We tweet out that it is illegal to drive these ATVs and these dirt bikes. Electric scooters are legal, but we try to enforce the law as best as we can. And it's very helpful if you let them know that this is illegal and it's not, and we don't want this. The community does not want this in Bushwick. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Celeste.
Thank you.
Okay, if that concludes all our questions for our captain, thank you so much, Captain. We appreciate you being here as usual. And I do have some messages from the chat. I want to make sure I acknowledge we do have a representative from the Assemblywoman's office. So Isis, if you want to provide your name and contact information at this time. Are you there, Isis?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. Hi, I'm Isis McIntosh Green, Chief of Staff to Assemblywoman Latrice Walker. We are in office. However, we are only taking walk-ins. We're not taking walk-ins. We're only doing appointments. You can contact our office at 718-342-1256, or you can email us at Walker, WALKERL, at nyassembly.gov, and we're handling everything from unemployment issues to voting rights, which we were able to pass today in both the Assembly and the Senate.
Thank you. Tell Ms. Walker we love her.
So thank you so much, Chair Camacho, as well as District Manager Celeste.
Thank you, thank you. And also just thank you for always having a representative at our district service cabinet meetings. It is a valuable opportunity for us to engage.
Yes.
Definitely. And just as a reminder, I know someone mentioned vaccinations earlier. However, we do have available slots at some of our local hospitals offering the Pfizer vaccine. If you or anyone that you know is interested over the age of 16 and getting the vaccine, please contact us again at walkerl@nyassembly.gov. We specifically have 8 slots available for tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
And I want to acknowledge as well, we have one of our New York State administrative law judges with us, Casilda. If you'd like to introduce yourself, name and contact info.
Hi, good evening. My name is Casilda Roper Simpson. Thank you for having me here this evening. My contact number is 718-722-8796.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we will move on now. And again, I apologize if we missed any questions. It's not intentional. There is a lot happening behind the scenes. We will certainly pass along anything that wasn't addressed this evening. And if you were not included in the introductions, there will be the announcement portion later in the meeting. Moving on now to the next item on the agenda. It is the district manager's report. That's my report. I will try to be brief. Bear with me one moment while I pull it up. Good evening, everyone, and happy early Earth Day. It's tomorrow. I hope you've been able to find safe, fun, and sustainable ways to celebrate and give back to the Earth this month. Thank you to our community partners and elected officials who continue to emphasize and support the importance of caring for our environment and, in turn, our health and overall quality of life. As you likely know, the COVID-19 vaccine is now open to those that are 16 years old and above. As we inch closer and statistics show the number of cases are decreasing, it remains important to stay safe, following all health guidelines, and get vaccinated if you're able to do so. The city has invested a significant portion of our taxpayer dollars on pandemic recovery, including the many COVID-19 testing and vaccine sites throughout Bushwick and the city. We know that some are concerned about the vaccine and encourage you to do your research and of course talk to your primary care physician. As it relates to the board's office, as you've heard earlier, we are short-staffed, and thank you to Barbara Smith for having us in mind. I know we spoke earlier today. Sharon and I certainly appreciate your patience and understanding during this time. For further perspective on this, I've referenced it as an example. Think about our elected officials. They typically have at least 4 to 5 staff members, if not more. These staff do everything from handling constituent services to the calendar to, we just heard there's a chief of staff. I am the 4 or 5 staff members. Sharon and I are the 4 or 5 staff members in 2. It is very challenging to be able to serve Bushwick in the way that we need to work with everything going on in the world and in our community with only 2 people. And it weighs heavy on my heart and mind knowing that we would be better able to serve Bushwick, especially as it continues to grow and evolve with additional staff and support. The time that I would prefer spending on projects to increase the board's visibility and engage with the community is often spent handling administrative tasks and processing correspondence. This is just the reality, but we need, the board support, the community support. I'm happy to hear that the senator is willing to engage, and I will certainly take him up on that as we move forward in this battle to make sure we have the support we need to serve Bushwick. And with the board's support, I've been able to meet those challenges creatively. I certainly appreciate all of our chairpersons for the committees that have been helping with their reports. It is invaluable help. It is a reality, though, that neighborhoods like Bushwick have been hit the hardest. Our longtime residents and board members, everyone except those that have been able to weather the pandemic more comfortably, are struggling. We heard all of our board member updates from Mr. Camacho earlier. We understand this and we want to make it easier for everyone. We're adapting what we do and how we do it to better serve both the board and the community at large. And for those that know, for those that don't, community boards at their best play a fundamental role in shaping the resources and amenities in the neighborhoods they represent. As the city changes and private interests continue to capitalize off of neighborhoods like Bushwick, we now are faced again with speaking up to our elected officials. All of us can demand truly affordable housing. The board can continue to prioritize it as a great capital need, but unless we're having real conversations about how to reclaim our neighborhoods and coming together to take action, we won't see Bushwick in the years to come. I know that Bushwick has the diversity and expertise from both longtime and new residents. This is really a call to action to both protect and preserve our community together. And below are meetings and events that I've attended, but I will briefly pause in case anyone has any questions or comments before I move on with my report.
No, I have no question. I just want to thank you, Celeste, because you have have helped me in a lot of times. There are times where we bump heads, but there are times when we make things done, and I just want to thank you. Because I know it's a hard job. I know it's not an easy job. Imagine I don't get paid and I do. Imagine getting paid and getting all this. And I want to thank you most of all, because young people like you, it's hard to find, to get someone that's really true and wants to work with the community. People just want to get a job and just to do a job, but you do a job and you do it with you're always calling me, you're always telling me, you're always keeping me informed, so I just want to thank you. And if I'm still here, I just want to appreciate everything that you do, especially for Bushwick.
Thank you, Mr. Camacho. And I'm ready. Let's get it done, right? Let's take action. So I also want to summarize the meetings and events that I've gone to. Give me one moment. Screen. I've highlighted them. So there are a variety of things that happen throughout every month. But for example, I had a meeting with Columbia grad students. They're currently working with the Clean Bushwick Initiative, one of our local groups. They're doing a sanitation report. I was able to give them a history of sanitation issues in the community. Please stay tuned for more information from them. I was also connected to the Department of Design and Construction regarding their communications. One of my colleagues in Brooklyn suggested that they speak to us in Board 4 to talk a little bit about how NYC DDC engages with the community. On Monday, March 22nd, there was a citywide borough coordinators meeting with the Office of Management and Budget regarding budget consultations for fiscal year 2023. This is one of the things that I unfortunately had to no longer take on since I'm busy handling items for the district. I was not able to continue in the role as borough budget coordinator this year. However, one of my colleagues has graciously accepted the passing of the torch. And for folks that don't know, we engage in the budget consultation process in September and October. We speak to all city agencies that are required to meet with the boards, as well as others that are invited to talk about budget priorities. It's an excellent time to find out where they're going to provide funding to support the community and to also advocate for our needs on a borough and on a district level. On March 23rd, I had 2 check-in calls. One was with our liaison, Delancey Nelson from Partnership for Parks. Partnership for Parks, for those that don't know, are the guides and the liaisons to help individuals that would like to steward or volunteer in a park. Please let me know if you'd like more information from them. I also spoke with Dina Alfano, a Bushwick resident who is very passionate about historic preservation. We have ongoing preservation efforts. If anyone is interested in learning more about landmarking, getting involved, please let me know. On March 25th, I was in the Bushwick Community Partnership Governance meeting. We continue to meet to provide guidance to the partnership on their engagement with the community and their planning for the future.
But I'm on the phone with the meeting. What should I do? Just click him?
We can hear you, Martha. And on Thursday, April 1st, I had a call with Council Land Use through Councilmember Reynoso's office. Thank you to both Councilmember Reynoso's office and Council Land Use. This was regarding Bushwick Avenue safety improvements. They will be attending our meeting for the committee next Monday to provide guidance and help us come up with a report to present to the Department of Transportation. This was at the request of our committee chairperson, Louisa Chan. I was able to follow up and find us some support for the committee. And I also attended the same day the sanitation working group meeting, the 10th meeting that we've had. We continue to meet. If folks are interested in getting more involved in addressing sanitation issues, please let me know. And on Thursday, April 8th, I spoke with Randall Torrey from Riseboro. This was regarding the Jefferson Street Garden, which hopefully will be open to engage with the community soon. And then also the Stockholm Street Legal Defense Campaign. They will be presenting on this campaign next Tuesday at the Housing and Land Use Committee. Please reach out if you need more information. That same day, I attended a meeting. It was an introduction meeting with Plenty, an urban agriculture company that's based in San Francisco. It was interesting to hear from them, as urban agriculture is another type of business that is most likely going to be in industrial areas. They don't have any plans to expand in New York City yet, but it was a great opportunity for us to learn a little bit more about what they do and the kind of facility that their business requires. And on Wednesday, April 14th, there was the district service cabinet meeting. We had a packed meeting, all of our required agency representatives and more, including our elected official representatives. Thank you to everyone that attends those meetings. Again, it's invaluable. The Borough Service Cabinet meeting was last Thursday, the 15th. We had presentations from Parks on their anti-litter campaign, the Department of Transportation on open streets, and the Civic Engagement Commission regarding the People's Bus, which is a new engagement project they will be rolling out this year. And on Friday, April 16th, I had a check-in with a colleague from Board 5. I tried to speak to my colleagues, fellow district managers, on a semi-regular basis, just to make sure we're all staying up to date about things that are going on and supporting each other. As a note to this, I have not been able to work on the future of CB's report, Community Board's report that you've heard about in the past, just given the change in our capacity, but I'm hoping that we will be able to rally and complete the report in time for it to be a resource prior to this year's elections. And on Tuesday, April 20th, I attended the Agency Privacy Officer convening. This is put together by the Office of Information Privacy to provide resources and support for the agencies that have to do annual reporting. It's incredibly helpful, and it also provides guidance on how we take the community's information, which the board, very limited, very small. We don't take any sensitive information from the public, but it's basically a way for us to have some more guidance on how to process information, especially as we live in a more technological society. And that concludes my report. Thank you. Any questions, comments? Going once, going twice? All right. Committee reports, starting with, we already covered, or we're starting with district office. Mr. Camacho, did you want to comment on attendance and the office opening, or would you like for me to just summarize?
You can summarize.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, just in summary, so the board members that have been flagged for attendance, so that is either 3 unexcused absences or 6 excused absences, have all been notified by phone. As per the board's bylaws, they will also receive a letter that details which meetings were missed. All board members are asked in that letter their intentions. You know, we understand that there's a lot going on. When we call, we always want to make sure that everything is okay. And we know that there have been some board members, the circumstances, right? That's really what's happening in the background. So we are understanding, we are supportive. So those board members know who they are. In regards to the district office, so you've heard from some agencies, you've probably seen the news that the city is returning to work in May. For the community board office, the building is open. However, staff go in about once a week. We're still working from home just to stay safe. We have plans in July when the board is on recess to resume, given, you know, by then more people should be vaccinated, should be a little bit safer. We are a small office, but we're in a big building. It's a city building, so we're just trying to be as mindful as possible. We want everyone to feel comfortable as we return. We will likely be on an alternating schedule. It really depends on what will happen with potential hires at that point. But by September, we should be back in the office on a more regular basis. There may be some, you know, schedule changes, but for the most part, we go once a week, check the mail, and we will be doing that more frequently as we get closer to
And we also want to thank a board member gave us those plastic petitions. So hopefully we're gonna change the board around the office to make sure it's protected and make sure that we clean. And if we can't have no one in there, they're gonna drop things off, drop it off in a bucket, and we can pick it up and let them come back and pick it up. So we're trying to be mindful. That me and Celeste walk into the office, we're doing things. So we gave me water to her plants because her plants are dying. We're bringing them back to life.
The plants have been through a lot. They needed to be cared for. So, but thankfully they're doing much better now. But that being said, I believe that concludes our district office updates. For folks in terms of our staffing, so our former staff member, Willie Morales, is still on payroll until the end of May. Hopefully by the beginning of June, we will get the green light from the Office of Management and Budget to begin the posting for the new hire. I will certainly keep the board and our executive board posted.
Just a reminder that the executive board, since it's Celeste is the boss of the person, we don't have to go through the full board. So I hope everybody knows that only we'll address the executive board and myself and Celeste, or we'll be interviewing, sending all the things under the city charter. So because she's their boss, she'll interview and we'll interview together.
The process will be the same for the way it was for Sharon, the way it was for Felix, for those that were on the executive board then. It's the same process. So nothing has changed unless we are notified that there are changes that have to be made. So
yep.
All right. Next I have economic development plus permits and licenses. Melissa?
Evening. Can you hear me, Celeste?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much. Apologies to everyone for not being on video today. I got my second COVID vaccine, so I'm not feeling too great, but happy to be here with you all. And the Economic Development and Permits and Licenses Committee met on Tuesday, April 13th at 6 p.m. We got started promptly at 6:05. We had 4 new liquor license applications for review. I'm not going to take up too much time. You can find a lot more information in our report, but I will go through over them briefly. The first one is Sol Latina Corp, located at 189 Wilson Avenue. It's a new full liquor wine, beer application. It's a family-oriented Latin American cuisine, Latin owned. They are looking, forward to expanding and making some more revenue by adding this liquor license. They are also eager to connect with their neighbors, with the community, and intended operating hours are 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. That's their operating hours. And they are in total compliance with no selling of alcohol after 12 a.m. on Sundays, which really doesn't apply for them here, but it's good for us to have that written down. Next up, we have Williamsburg Pizza coming to Bushwick, which is pretty exciting. They have 5 different locations, and if you haven't tried them, please check them out. They're really great. Located at 259 Wyckoff Avenue, right across the street from Latinos Unidos. And this will be their 5th location opening here with no history of noise complaints, which is always a plus. They are a New York style pizza and appetizers kind of space. It's not a large location, and they are intending to open from 11:30 a.m. to 2 a.m. from Monday through Wednesday, and Thursday through Saturday from 11:30 a.m. to 4 a.m. Sunday through Monday, 11:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. And this is just really for the sales of alcohol hours. They are intending to open from 11:30 a.m. to 4 a.m., just serving food. And the establishment is in total compliance with no selling of alcohol after 12 a.m. on Sundays. And next up, we have Bev Zero, which is the Wheelhouse. As many of you know, the Wheelhouse has been around for some time now. They're located at 165 Wilson Avenue. We received a letter from the Senator Julia Salazar's office supporting the establishment. They are going through a transition of management and ownership. They have 2 new owners who have taken over previous locations, and they are excited to come to Bushwick, get to know the community, and get involved. So that's pretty exciting. They are a small light menu space, and they are applying for both a sidewalk street permit, and their intended operating hours are 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. And they are in total compliance with no selling of alcohol after 12 a.m. on Sundays. And last, we had the Jag Restaurant Corp, also Killer Thai, located at 207 Star Street. They previously came to our committee back in 2019, I believe. Feels so long ago now, but they came to us, and unfortunately, with COVID and everything happening, they didn't get their CTO, but they just recently received it. It's a family-friendly Thai cuisine restaurant with numerous establishments in NYC. Their intended operating hours are Sunday through Thursday from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m., Thursday through Saturday from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. And they are also in total compliance with no selling of alcohol after 12 a.m. on Sundays. So those are the 4 new applications. Something the committee did discuss under new business was the excluded workers fund. And I know that Gladys, who is on our committee, was going to find out more information from Make the Road on this and get back to us. And also Celeste talked a little bit about reaching out to local partners just to see how we can bring back that information to people in Bushwick who could really use this information and figure out how they can apply and get these funds because they really need them. And that pretty much sums up my report. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Any questions?
all right.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, Mr. Camacho.
My condolences, but listen, drink a lot of water, right? Because I had gotten sick. Drink a lot of water. You know, my wife took the shot, and it looked like they gave her water. Nothing happened to her, but I was sick like a dog. But drink a lot of water.
Thank you, Mr. Camacho. I got my water cup right next to me. I'm on it.
You got to drink a lot. And take
Thank
some
you.
Tylenol if you get pain, because I had pain. And next is the EPTS and Parks Chairperson.
Yes, hello everyone. Nice to be here with you this evening. I'm going to try to keep it brief because Celeste did touch on some of the committee items. We met on March 22nd and meeting started 6:10, so not too bad. We discussed primarily the parks permit, parks and recreation permits, and we had we had 4 community members submit applications, and they all attended the meeting to discuss their requests. But at the time, we did not have the recommendations allocated yet for the permits, so that's still pending. And I think we're working with Mr. Camacho on that. And then the other item we touched on was the invitation to the Department of Transportation. We are inviting them to attend one of our committee meetings to discuss priorities in our community. And as a board, as a committee, we discuss some of the issues that we feel are important to the community that we wanted to bring up with the DOT. And so some of those items include the enforcement of commercial truck traffic on Bushwick Avenue. We're still having a problem. Certain corridors where buses run, like on Halsey and actually specifically B52 Gates Avenue, there's a lot of congestion with double parking. The need for more speed bumps in certain areas. One member brought up Putnam Avenue, Irving to Knickerbocker. And then also a general issue of bike safety, especially when bike lanes end abruptly, like at Wilson and Flushing Avenues. And then also the potential safety study for where pedestrians are crossing, especially when there's a break in the street as a result of Broadway, for example, at Broadway Halsey or Gates and Broadway. So those are the main things we discussed at the committee. If you have any other items that you'd like to bring up with the DOT, please feel free to reach out to myself or Celeste to bring that to our attention, and we'll be sure to get that addressed. Thank you.
And Luisa, what it is that I'm waiting for. We're waiting for one of the, because there's only 4 parks, and 3 parks are taken. We're waiting for the other lady to give us the dates that she wants to give to the other, because we have 2 soccer leagues that are applied that are in Bushwick, which is Super Kids and Rio Guadalupe, and one has Bushwick and one has Linden Park. And what happens is the other individual has the smaller park, and for little kids, which is the one in Linden, and he wants some time on Bushwick Park. So we're trying to settle that up between them. Once I get them together, then we can sit down and issue. But we also have one park available, which is Thomas Borland, that is not being utilized, and we're trying to get Park Department to get the individual that didn't come in. Yes. The guy that lived across the street on Best Eye side, that by the development, which is a Rockaway, right across the street from the park. So he said he would come in, and maybe we can see if we can get a hold of him, hopefully next meeting, so he can come and tell us more or less, how many kids he got, that the percentage of the kids should be from Bushwick, and if he has his insurance or his 501c3. So we'll work on that, and that's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for adding some more color to my report. It was my first meeting, so I didn't have all of my bases.
You did great. No, you did great. I love it. Okay, next on the agenda is Health and Hospital Services and Senior Citizen Veterans. Mrs. Jones?
I don't know if Cheryl is here. Are there I wasn't at this particular meeting. Are there any volunteers from the committee that would like to summarize? Or Mr. Camacho, would you be able to summarize?
I don't know if I know I took notes, but I'm not too sure. Let me see. I know I wrote a big,
I believe it was 2 informational presentations.
yeah.
So there was one, I believe the North Brooklyn Coalition Against Family Violence. We had Mayra was there, who provided just an overview of what the organization does.
Yeah.
I don't recall the second, I think it was Riseboro. They were talking about Project Hope. So they provided some information on Project Hope, as well as Shape Up Bushwick. So our modified pandemic adapted Shape Up Bushwick event this year was discussed. And then it was just some other regular business from the committee. So, but there is a outline in the committee report. So please take a look. You'll get more details on what each of those, both of the organizations provide, as well as where we are at with Shape Up.
I forgot. I also like to thank.
Is there a date for Shape Up Bushwick?
Yes.
What's the
June
date for
3rd.
Shape Up Bushwick?
Yes, it's
June 3rd.
Yes, thank you.
And we have to El Puente came to the Riseboro. They brought all the kids to clean up too. So Sanat, I want to thank her for bringing. She came out. A little baby came out to clean and rip the community park.
That was for our Earth Day event this past Saturday. So yes, thank you to El Puente, to Clean Bushwick Initiative, and of course Penrose and Pinnacle from Hope Gardens.
Yeah, we had the vice president of regional raking the lawns there, so you can see how good the lawns are going to work.
All right. So our next committee report, I believe that is yes, Housing and Land Use. Anne.
Sorry about that. I was still on mute. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. The Housing and Land Use meeting of March 30th was really focused on a Board of Standard and Appeals variance application for 81 Beaver Street. That is the old Ulmer Brewery building. I think many people are familiar with it. So the application is to convert the use, not the zoning, but just the use, from manufacturing to residential. The presenters were Jeff Mulligan of Kramer Levin, that's the lawyer, Travis Stabler, who of 81 Beaver Street Development, who is the owner, and then Jordan Rogove from DXA Studio, who is the architect. And so the three of them variously presented this application. Their application is based on hardship. The argument is that they it is a landmark building. It was designated a few years ago, and that they have been trying to renovate or haven't started renovation, but they have been trying to rent out the spaces and attract commercial tenants and light manufacturing tenants for several years and have not been able to do so. So the argument is that the money doesn't work and they cannot get a reasonable rate of return with a commercial or light manufacturing use, and so they would therefore like to change it to residential. Many of you may remember that they came before us about 18 months ago and presented, asked for some support coming before the Landmarks Preservation Committee to make a few changes to make it work better for those commercial uses. And that was a great meeting. We had a very robust conversation. And it was really nice for the Housing and Land Use Committee to see a light manufacturing commercial building being kept in that use. So I think we were all a little disappointed when they came before us and saying they wanted to switch to residential. So basically there were a lot of questions. There was a lot of discussion about specific things. the size of the floor plates that are not particularly large. The fact that I believe it's an L-shaped building and the floors don't line up, so you'd have to do ramps or something like that. And that makes it harder to do manufacturing or commercial uses. And so that was something, and then the cost of updating a landmarked building. Several of the committee members had some questions and some concerns. I know Mr. Ceballos was asking about parking, because this would be, the proposal is to turn it into 45, I believe, residential units. And so there are questions about parking. There are questions about local hiring. Desmond always raises, I think, really good questions about that. Workforce development, Jamie, Mr. Camacho was concerned about the fact that all of these units, these proposed units, would be at market rate. And then, and the fact that, you know, we had been excited for a commercial light manufacturing restoration of this building. And so we're disappointed to see that go away. We also had some input from Asher Freeman at Councilmember Reynoso's office, and who raised an important issue that is something that we've been thinking a lot about, which is that this is a BSA variance appeal as opposed to ULURP. Board of Standards and Appeals has asked us for our input, and we will ask the committee to vote on our the wider community board to vote on our recommendation that we came up with as the HLU committee. But that is, it's a sort of advisory role, whereas in the ULURP process, which, you know, has its flaws for sure, there is a built-in statutory public input role for community boards. And so that they chose to use the BSA process, a variance application, instead of going through ULURP. So there were a number of issues. What it ultimately, our discussion really focused on in the end, and Joshua Brown raised this very importantly, is that as part of the Bushwick Community Plan and many discussions that we have been having for years now, is that CB4 has said that we are not going to support M2R, aka manufacturing to residential conversions. And again, this is not a zoning change, it's a use change, and that is an important distinction. However, the fundamentals are, the end result is the same, that this would be approximately 45 units of market rate housing with no requirement for affordability. And it would not be preserving the manufacturing and commercial spaces. So our committee recommendation to the full board that we will ask for your support for is that we would like to send a letter to the Board of Standards and Appeal recommending that they do not support this project, this conversion.
May I, Chairman? We were just a little concerned because what does the community benefit from us changing it? You know, he cut through corners. He went from one thing, and now he's going to the Board of Standards and Appeal because he's creating that as a hardship. How do you spend $20 million and turn around and go through one of those 5 steps to create a hardship? That is a self-inflicted hardship. He did it upon himself. So why are we even talking that way? Because he took it upon his own self. He thought he would make money, saw that it was a thing, and it didn't work the way he was supposed to. Now he's going through the BSA and saying that is a hardship. Why should we be giving if the community don't benefit from them?
So I think that it's such an important point, Mr. Camacho, and I think there was a really robust conversation at the committee level. If anyone is interested in the meeting transcript, we're happy to share that with you. But really, it was, especially at this moment in time, when so many people in Bushwick are facing such incredible and profound hardship on so many levels, there is no recourse for those people. All the people facing hardship in this community right now. This is, you know, real estate development it's, I mean, there are risks involved in it, and it is not up to the CB to the CB needs to stick to our principles, which we have clearly articulated for many years now, about what the needs of this community are. And so our hardship declaration is, I think, is not something that we are comfortable supporting when the project does not support any of the long-stated community needs, goals, and desires.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the recommendation, which we'll bring up at, in the recommendations portion, is that the letter to the BSA states that CB4 is not supporting this project. The rest of the meeting, there was some other discussion. We're following the project at 1325 Broadway at the corner of Linden. That's that as of right project. Really just some quick updates on some things that have been on the horizon for a while, but the 95% of the meeting was focused on 81 Beaver.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions or concerns?
Well, my only question, this is Martha Brown speaking, and I realize I'm no longer on the Housing and Land Use Committee, but I believe you need to speak with a technical advisor. I don't know if the borough president still has the land use technical advisors, because this could be taking us into an area of if he wants a variance, but if it's going to be a BSA variance and it's his private property, he may come into an area where that could be as a right for him to rent this property according to his wishes, as he is the owner. So you may have to, Celeste or somebody probably should get in touch with someone from the borough president's office.
So I think, so I will absolutely follow up. Thank you so much, Ms. Brown. And you will forever be the superstar of the HLU committee.
Honorary member, always.
I'm just saying we may be moving into a gray area, so I suggest, and I recommend, but I think you need to speak to someone before any further action is taken on this. When do you have to respond? How much time do we have to respond?
We have 60 days in total.
Okay.
It was March 30th, so we're about, we've still got about 40 days left. So absolutely, Richard Barrick has always been incredibly helpful.
Call Richard. He's a genius, and he has the answers. He has the answers. So please call him.
And I guess the one thing I just want to, thank you. I will follow up on that. One thing I would like to flag for the committee, or not the committee, the whole board, and I think we've mentioned this before and talked about at the committee level, is that we're starting to see more and more BSA applications, variance applications, that do not have that public input process. Again, the BSA has reached out to us, via Celeste, and asked us to weigh in on these things, but we don't have a statutory role. And I think that's something, it's an issue of concern, and so just something we want to flag for everyone.
Okay, well, I suggest tomorrow, if you get a chance, get on the phone with Richard. Yeah. And he's very knowledgeable in all of these situations, and I think he can play the devil's advocate and tell you which way to go and which way to proceed. So, I suggest, that's my suggestion.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's my recommendation. As a board member, I suggest you do that before you make any twists and turns. You can still vote against it, because whatever they're going to do anyway. So you can still make your recommendation not to support it, but find out from Richard what your best avenue of approach to this would be, and he'll tell you the truth.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Brown. I'll speak to Richard tomorrow. And just to note, we did consult with the council member's office who spoke with council land use. So we did have some technical assistance provided, but I definitely lean on Richard for other perspectives. So I will speak to him tomorrow about this to see if he has anything else to add or how we can strategize around this trend that we're seeing with these applications.
Yeah, good. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, well, thank you. Sorry to interrupt, but that's the main thing I'd like to say. That's what I'd like. I wanted to add that and to check with Richard. Okay,
yes.
Sorry.
No,
Thank you.
no, glad to have you back.
Okay, well, I'm glad to be back.
Martha, didn't I tell you was antique?
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. You know, the legal mind is always working.
Have you back, Miss Brown. So glad.
A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
To waste, right? I know. I was staying here watching all the crime shows and everything. I said I better go back to the board. Watching the IT
All right.
channel.
Let's move on to our recommendations.
Okay.
Recommendations, okay?
All right. Melissa, would you like to go first?
Yes, thank you, Celeste. So the EDC and PLC recommendations are for the 4 establishments that presented to us last week. And
Melissa, to the board, is it possible that we can make a blanket vote? Maybe we can, I recommend that we do, since everybody heard, I had no questions, that we do a blanket vote on those 4.
Yes.
If anybody wants a second.
That's fine. I think we could do a blanket. I second that. Yes, Martha
All
Brown.
in favor?
All in favor?
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved for a blanket vote. Thank you.
Now you can just get the addresses and then we can
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Camacho. So the committee is recommending to approve the application for Soul Latina Corp at 189 Wilson Avenue, as is, with the operating hours of 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week. No sales of alcohol after 12 a.m. And we are also recommending for Williamsburg Pizza, move to approve application as is with the intended sales of alcohol hours stated in the committee meeting, which are Monday through Wednesday from 11:30 to 2 a.m. From Monday through Wednesday, Thursday through Saturday, 11:30 to 4 a.m., and Sunday through Monday, 11:30 to 12 a.m. With the compliance of no selling of alcohol after 12 a.m. And then we have Bev Zero, located, the Wheelhouse, located at 165 Wilson Avenue, moved to approve application with the intended operating hours as follows: 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. And within the compliance of no selling of alcohol after 12 a.m. on Sundays. And lastly, we have Jag Restaurant Group Corp., also known as Killer Thai, located at 207 Star Street, moved to approve application with the intended operating hours of Sunday through Thursday from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m., Thursday through Saturday, 12 p.m. to 12 a.m., and of course, the establishment being in compliance with no selling of alcohol after 12 a.m. on Sundays.
I, Robert Camacho, recommend that we permits and license on these 4 locations.
Establishments, okay.
I, Melissa Carrera, second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor?
Chairperson.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Hello.
Oh, yes.
Melissa is the chairperson. She can't do that.
Yes.
Her own chairperson of that committee. So somebody else has to second it. She can't do it her own committee.
Oh, she can't chair her own committee. Oh, the chief chair.
She could chair it, but
she can't make the vote. Second vote. Anybody else on the second?
I'll second the Martha Brown. I second the motion. I second the vote.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved.
That's
Thank
good.
you. All right. Our next, I believe, and only other recommendation is Housing and Land Use.
Our recommendation for the Housing and Land Use Committee is that CB4 send a letter to the Board of Standards and Steel stating our opposition to the variance application for 81 Beaver Street.
I make a recommendation on that.
Okay.
Camacho second.
Okay.
No, Robert, you didn't let me say the recommendation yet.
Oh, okay. I can't hear you.
I'm saying that she says she has 90 days. You have 90 days?
Yes.
40 days. 40 days.
We should table that until she makes a phone call tomorrow and see what the guy says, and then come back to it. You have 90 days to write the letter.
I'm not certain it's even 60 days, so I would have to because the BSA is a little bit shorter. So, and we actually, as a matter of fact, just give me one moment. We can ask because
May 3rd, there's a hearing on that.
Hold one moment, please, because we have someone from the 81 Beaver team on the call. I would like for them to answer how many days, if they can, we have. Just give me 1 second. Jeff, if you're there, I'm going to mute you now.
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Yes. So are you able to respond to the question about how many days typically the community board has to respond?
The community board has 60 days from when they receive the application. That's actually in the board rules, and I believe it's in the charter.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay. Just want to be sure.
Yeah.
So what was the day that we got it?
The meeting was March 30th. I don't know when we received the application.
Correct. That's when the clock starts ticking. But they got here at the town hall May 3rd on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure we don't have as much time as we think we do. And if the committee thinks that we should send that letter, I think we should do it now while we're meeting and do it. And if the community board says we don't want to switch M's to R's ever, stop bringing them to us, I think we should send that letter as soon as we can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I have a proposal then. Celeste and I will talk tomorrow, and then one or both of us will figure out, we'll speak with Richard Barrett. But barring any recommendation from Richard Barrett and Richard Barrett, for everybody reference, is at the Borough President's office. He is land use expert. Barring any red flags from Mr. Barrett, that we send that letter. We can let everybody know. We can immediately reach out if there are any red flags. But
yes.
Does that make sense?
And just to add context here, to add context here, I highly doubt that anything that Richard advises on is going to change the position of the committee on this particular application.
Yeah.
I think it may influence how we approach other applications in the future, but I don't think it's going to affect this particular response.
Yeah.
I would second that. I think that makes a lot of sense.
I agree. I think we should just go with the recommendation as recommended.
Yeah, I say so too. I say go with it and let the chips fall where they may speak to. Go with it, make your recommendation, and you still have, that's your recommendation. It is not law, and you still have a right to not want to have this. You have a right not to support this specific request for the variance anyway.
Okay.
That's the board's right. The board has a right to not want to do it anyway. You don't have to, it's not, it's not that they can do it whatever. We have a right to say we don't recommend this the variance.
So
that's our right as the board, we can vote against it.
I make a recommendation that we support the housing land use not to approve
Robert, on this
not to approve it.
You shouldn't make the recommendation, Robert. Let somebody else make it.
Honeygan, I second that.
Okay. So all in favor?
Who second?
Aye.
Honeygan. Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Thank you, everyone. I believe that
Very
concludes
good.
our recommendations. If there are any other recommendations, please speak now.
No, none. Old business? Any old business? Going once? Any old business? Old business going twice?
No. All right. New business?
New business?
So there was a question, and just because we generally have more time, I know that there's been some concerns about local law 152. We will have a presentation on this in June. But since we have Department of Buildings here, if the board agrees, if they could provide just a very quick notification as to what local law 152 is under new business. Does the board agree? Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. Damaris, this is regarding local law 152. I'm going to mute you now.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, great. So yes, regarding local law 152, that was really my only update. So DOB is actually going to be doing outreach for local law 152. We are actually sending letters to the property owners who are affected by local law 152, notifying them of the compliance date and the deadlines. Additionally, we are calling the property owners and informing them of the deadlines and all the compliance dates as well. So I mean, people should be receiving calls, letters, just to get the information out there. I'm actually going to put some information in the chat that has all of the deadlines and the compliance dates for each community board, besides Community Board 4, just in case anyone here, sorry, excuse me, knows anyone that is affected in any other community boards. I'm going to put all that information in the chat. And I think you mentioned last meeting that Community Board 4 is going to be having an information session in June with DOB. So we're actually going to have the Chief of Plumbing Enforcement on that information session, giving everyone, all this detailed information regarding local law 152. He'll be able to answer questions and, address anyone's concerns. Other than that, I do have one other short announcement. So DOB actually just put out a new service level tracker. It allows the public to see the average wait time for several different DOB services. It also allows the public to see the timeline for projects in all boroughs. I'm going to put the link in the chat as well, and that link will take you directly to the site. Other than that, that's really all I have, unless anyone has questions.
Annette Spelling, I have one question.
Sure.
I'm familiar with the 152. However, there are a couple of people who've come to me and mentioned that they don't have their C of O's. How can they get the application? One lady doesn't have a computer, and I tried to bring it up on my computer, and I had a problem. So I needed to know, how do we get the applications for C of O's for people?
So you can actually go to the borough office if, someone doesn't have access to a computer. So we do have people working in the borough offices. The operating times aren't like they were before COVID. Usually it's best to get there between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. if you want to speak with someone directly who can assist you with finding more information about the property. In addition, we also have a DOB customer service number, a phone number, and you can speak with a customer service representative, and they'll also be able to assist you with any questions regarding C of O's or any other questions on properties. And I can put the phone number in the chat as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the office is at Girolamo Street, right?
Correct. Yes, 210 Girolamo
Thank you.
Street on the 8th floor. I'll put the address for the borough office, and I will also put the phone number for the customer service in the chat.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Anyone else?
If there's no other new business or questions. All right, going once, going twice. We'll move on to announcements now. I just want to note that we do have some of our judicial representatives with us this evening. My apologies if I missed you earlier. I want to make sure you have an opportunity to speak. Just give me one moment. All right. And I know we have other folks who are joining us this evening. If you'd like to make an announcement, please just let me know in the chat so I can call on you. Elected officials, I'm going to go in order that I see you on my list. So please be ready. I have Marcus. Marcus. All right. Next, I have Julio. Announcements.
Yes, thank you, Celeste. Very quickly, I first want to acknowledge some of the work and collaboration that took place over earlier this week with our chairperson in advocating for some of our Hope Garden residents and ensuring that they have the same access to city services as it pertains to DSNY, that those services be delivered to some of our public housing residents as well. It's an ongoing conversation that we're having with RAD management, and our chairperson was there, and we wanted to thank him for participating in that conversation and advocating for some of those resources. So we'll give you guys an update hopefully soon next week as we have a walkthrough scheduled there. But I do want to say we're still receiving some concerns from some of our seniors as it pertains to the stimulus check, as I mentioned in the previous meeting. So please feel free to reach out to us. We're able to reach out to contact the IRS and have those checks processed. So please feel free to reach out. I'll put my email in the chat, but again, our phone number is 718-599-3658. And I won't even try to go over what the senator said, but the infrastructure bill is something that's on the agenda for all members of Congress, and we all know how that can impact the infrastructure across the nation, but here in the district and in the city. So with any updates, we'll share that as well with the community board. But thank you again, Julio Salazar, Congresswoman Neri Velasquez's office.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Marcus?
Hi, everyone. Just a couple of things. We do have, if you go on brooklyn-usa.org, you will see that we have 2 financial literacy classes coming up. One is on tomorrow. The other one is the following Thursday. In addition, I know this was an issue that was brought up in one of the past meetings. I don't know who's been to Food Town, but if you notice, the crosswalk is clearly outlined now. As I went to Food Town today, I saw it and I happily stepped on it and crossed it. But just so that we finally, it is done now. So
you should have took a picture and selfie, man.
I might go out and do it again.
Next time.
Well, finally.
All right.
That's it for me, everyone.
Thank you.
No problem.
So I have here Judge Roper Simpson.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I just wanted to thank you for allowing me to be at the meeting this evening. It's always a great meeting. It's my second time, I believe, being at the meeting. I wanted to announce that I'm running for civil court judge, Kings County Borough-wide, and I'm qualified for the position. I have over 25 years of experience, and my website is ropersimpson4judge.com. I'm asking for the support for your vote on June 22nd, 2021. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Judge Montalbano. Rosemary, are you there? Carmen?
Hello?
Oh, hold on.
No.
Yes, you're muted.
Yeah, here. I just start my video. Okay, here we go. Hold it. It was really here. Just a judge.
Hi, I'm sorry, I was having audio issues. It's Rosemary Montalbano.
Go ahead. Yes, please. And then we'll come back to Carmen.
Okay, so I'm Rosemary Montalbano. I'm born, raised, and live in Bushwick, Brooklyn. I am presently a Supreme Court judge, and I am running for surrogate court judge. It's a county-wide race. I'm happy to be here, happy to hear all the things that are happening in our neighborhood. And thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And Carmen?
Yes, hi. It just happens that the judge and I were at the same place, and we voted. You're very popular tonight.
Yes, I am. Yes.
My name is my name is Carmen Pacheco, and I'm a community lawyer, and I'm the partner of the first Hispanic woman-owned law firm in New York, Pacheco and Lugo, established at One World Trade Center in 1992. And this is my attorney. I want to, I'm working in your district, and need support of the community, because I've been a community lawyer for just about 30 to 35 years. And I've assisted people. Like, for example, one of my cases was the Cypress Hill Cemetery case, where they buried people in well, Latinos and African Americans and Asians in landfill or garbage that we did it. And we were able to push the Attorney General's office into taking on the case. And then we defended the people to ensure that they didn't have to pay for the reinterment and disinterment of their deceased loved ones. And we've handled cases such as, or myself, on issues concerning RICO, where our business owners were told to incorporate their homes so that they collateralize the home and end up moving into New Jersey, the loans closing in New Jersey, so that they would end up with 56% interest rates, 26% add-on interest of whatever they were doing. So we've been in the trenches, and even as far as even recently today with certain developers that take on the, you know, a lot of the churches. There's inequities there, and we fought the fight to ensure that our churches maintain the land and they could provide affordable housing to the community so that our communities remain anchored. In addition, it's very important in this forum, especially, that I just want to make sure that everyone understands that if there's someone developing next to your home, you're entitled to compensation for that. And the compensation that you receive is in order for to live next to your property. So keep that in mind. That's a statutory issue. So putting a to monitoring that disturbance. Well, anyway, I hope that I could be the judge coming out of your community. I look forward to doing more. And if there's anything that I can do, you can call me, you know, at my office at 718-855-3000. Our lines are always open. Our doors are open for whatever community issues that there are in need. And for my judge site is Pacheco for judge2021.com. Thank you very much for the time, and deeply appreciate it.
I'm in the
Thank you. Moving on with our announcements, Andres from the Assemblywoman's office.
Hi, thank you, Celeste. So an announcement. I'm extremely happy to inform that about the New York State Assembly budget. It's an update regarding the funding for excluded workers. So the enacted state fiscal year 2021-2022 budget includes a $2.1 billion for the Excluded Workers Fund to provide aid for workers who didn't qualify for any relief. Funding access. Every worker contributes to our economy and deserve a helping hand, especially in time of crisis. So we're still waiting for the Department of Labor to actually provide us with any sort of application, either online or on paper, so that we can assist the community. Also, we are waiting for the rent relief program through the Office of Temporary Disability Administration as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Harris from the Controller's office. Are you there, Harris? All right. If not, moving on with my list, I have, I believe, Melissa from Riseboro, Project Hope?
Yes. It's Marissa, but that's fine.
My apologies.
Sure. So I'm with New York Riseboro New York Project Hope. And you've probably like heard about us in a variety of meetings. We're kind of popping up everywhere to let the community know what we're doing and who we are. New York Project Hope is a statewide crisis counseling program to help New Yorkers navigate the variety of changes caused by COVID. New York Project Hope is a program funded by the New York State Office of Mental Health as well as FEMA. We support the public in three main areas through public education, providing resources and emotional support. We're able to provide public education workshops in English and Spanish to organizations and community members on a variety of topics like coping with pandemic stressors, grief and bereavement. And we have a helpline where trained crisis counselors can provide trusted referrals and emotional support to any community members, and those are both in English and Spanish, as well as we have access to other languages. All of our services are free, confidential, and anonymous. And I'm going to put our helpline number as well as our numbers to our information to be reached out. I'll put that in the chat. We are eligible and available to do public education workshops free of service to the community.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Noel, the Bushwick Star, if you have any announcements.
Major announcements, I guess, as I told the board last month, we are still moving our theater to 419 Elder from 207 Star Street. That process will be a long one. Over this next year, we'll be producing shows at other spaces as we build the theater, as well as continuing to conduct our after-school programs and our programs with the senior centers throughout the year. But it's going to be a long process, and I will certainly continue to keep the board abreast of the progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Well,
I don't see any other announcements. If I've missed you, board members, this is the time. If you have anything, announcements, going once, going twice. Thank you, everyone. Moving on now, we have the second roll call. Before we get started, I want to make sure I have someone here that's called in. If you're a board member, the number is 646-643. 646-643. Okay. Hearing no one, we'll just continue with the roll call. It's not intentional if we missed you. Please just let me know in an email or drop a line in the chat. Board members, please be ready. I have Carlotta Williams.
Present.
Jerry Valentine. Annette Allen.
Present.
Dustin
And
Sonborn.
good night.
Good night.
Present, here.
Dustin Sonborn.
Present.
Barbara Smith.
Present.
Bernadine Shell.
Good night.
Julio, thanks. Julio Salinas. Eliseo Ruiz.
Present, and good night to everyone.
Good night,
Julio.
Present.
Gladys Pulia. Asire Polite.
Present.
Zuma Navoa.
Present.
Thank you. Sammy Namir. Desmond Monroe.
Present.
Mary McClellan.
Present.
Luisa Jose.
Present.
Virgie Jones. Cheryl Jones.
Present. Present.
Got you, Virgie. Cheryl Jones. Nisha Honeygan.
Present.
Jose Guzman. Thank you, got you. Jose Guzman.
Present and good night all.
Thank you. Reverend Gutierrez, Migdalia Gutierrez. Ann Guiney.
Present.
Igati Gomez. Freddie Fowler.
Present.
Thank you. James Fitzgerald.
Celeste 2919 is Gladys.
Okay. Okay, got it. I'll mark her present. Alvina Davis. Daniela Davi.
Present.
Andrew Choi. Luisa Chan.
Present.
Felix Ceballos.
Present, and good night, everyone.
Thank you. Melissa Carrera.
Good night, everyone.
Gardia Caphart.
Present.
Robert Camacho.
Presente, good night.
Raul Brown.
Joe.
Got you. Martha Brown.
Good present and good night, everybody.
Joshua Brown.
Good night, Ms. Brown.
Joshua Brown. Joanna Bennett.
Good night.
Night.
And Reverend H is excused. Is there a motion from the board to adjourn?
From Annette Stone.
Annette.
Second by Jerry.
Second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved.
Good
Thank
night.
you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good to see you. Bye-bye.
Good night.